Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Diabolical. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, streaming, TV, all sorts of good stuff. Joining me over here is Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today, sir?
John, tomorrow is my 34th anniversary of having moved to Los Angeles.
Really?
34 years tomorrow will be. I came here on June 4th. Check this out. 1988.
Wow. Just after Top Gun.
Just after Top Gun, the Lakers won the championship that year. I can't believe it. I mean, it's scary to me.
It's been a while since you've been here.
Tomorrow's also the 40th anniversary of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and Poltergeist.
Ooh.
Wow. I still can't believe those movies open on the same weekend. Also, Chris Carr is here. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I got here early today. I get to do ADR today. And then the thing I'm most excited about, because I'm so dorky, I get to organize my apartment today. We get to do sweeps. I'm so happy.
Wow.
Wait, sweeps?
Yeah, cleaning, like spring cleaning.
How have the men in your life ever kept up with you?
Oh, man.
It's crazy.
Like you're literally going to sweep your house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sitting over here,
Yep.
guy doesn't do much sweeping, but he does sweep out the trash who come and try to troll in our live chat, because he's in the live chat with you guys. Ray Ora's here. Ray, how you doing?
I just want that invite to this organizing party.
Oh, my gosh. Ray, do you want to come
Dude, I
over?
want that hat.
Yeah.
I want that rated R hat. Do you live a life
Is
rated
that
R?
a
You
rated
know,
R?
if people get that's why whenever I put on this hat, I'm like, I hope people are not gonna know they're not gonna know my name is Ray, right? For
Dude.
the R.
Ray came in here
that's-
today.
I
are
never
getting-
even thought that for a second.
People are getting.
He showed up looking so slick
You're not
today, y'all.
Archie wearing a big A on your shirt or
He
anything.
had the hat. He had a jacket that
it's
matched
cold in
it.
here, man.
Do they make an NC-17 hat?
No,
That's
I
what you
made
mean.
this. I got this made.
Oh, you got that custom?
Yeah, I got the patch, and then I had it kind of sewed on, I think.
Sitting beside him, it's our producer, the guy running the show. It's Jonathan Voico. Jonathan,
Morning,
good to have you
everybody.
here. And it's great to have you guys here. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to break it up into two parts. In the first half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. Here's how you get a live comment or question on. Number one, you got to be watching live. Number two, once we get to the end of our main topics, we'll announce that we're opening up the super chats. And at that point, you can go into the live chat, click on that super chat button, and send in a comment or question. Be fairly quick and be ready to go, because we only leave the super chats open for a couple of minutes because they fill up fast. Also, want to remind you guys that we have an audio-only version of our show for those of you who can't be in front of a YouTube video every day. If you want us in podcast form, just go onto your favorite podcasting app of choice and look up the John Campea Show podcast and subscribe to it today. Also, we have a second podcast feed for our mailbag show, and that podcast feed is just Mailbag, a John Campea Show podcast bonus feed. Go and search for that, subscribe to both of them, so they will be there when you need it. Also, want to remind you guys about another show we're doing later today, but I'll tell you about that in just a minute, because before we get into our main topics today, we got a couple of off the tops, a number of them actually, so let's get rolling. And our first off the top is this. Yesterday, one of my favorite shows returned as The Boys made its way back to Amazon for the beginning of season 3, and they launched The Boys season 3 with not one, not two, but 3 episodes. And I only had time to watch 2. I'll have to watch the third one a little bit later today. And we thought we would talk about it here a little bit. Don't worry, in a non-spoiler way, because a little bit later today, just so you guys know, at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, later today, we will be doing an open spoiler discussion of The Boys after show, if you will, where me and Rob are going to break down and talk about, in all spoilery goodness, all the insane stuff that happened in The Boys episodes 1 through 3. So make sure you guys come back for us at that point where we will go into all the spoilers. But for now, we're just going to talk a little bit about our impressions of the show. Again, me from watching 2 episodes, these guys each watched all 3, and our general impressions. I'll just tell you this, I'm 2 episodes in. This is the best season so far. I'm 2 episodes in, and we will not tell you what happens, but the first 10 minutes of this show, if you forgot, it's like Eric Kripke is saying to the audience, if you forgot how far we're willing to go, let's remind you of that right now.
Absolutely.
For those of you who've seen it, you know what we're talking about. One of the most insane, craziest things I have ever seen on a television screen, like right within the first 5 minutes. And I was like gasping for air. I was laughing so hard. But it just went from there. The story is great. They already, just in the first 2 episodes I saw, they're going deeper into each of their characters. Each one of them has an individual struggle and thing that they're dealing with. It's setting up various storylines. You see how they're going to converge. They tie up and pick up on a lot of things from season 2. I mean, they just did so much in the first 2 episodes I saw. And again, it was exciting. It was gruesome. It was hilarious. And I love these characters. It reminds me a lot of Supernatural in a way, which makes sense because there's Kripke also did Supernatural. But in the sense that even if there's nothing going on, I would watch this show just to hang out with the boys, just to have them on my screen. Even if they're just sitting in a room trying to learn how to play piano, I will sit there and watch it because these are just such great, fun characters. And they all have multiple levels to them. They're all very, very different from each other. I just love it. And by the way, I forget her name, but Frenchie and her.
Kimiko.
Kimiko, that's right. I almost ship them as much as Druig and Makari. And you know how much I like Druig and Makari. I ship them almost as much as that. They're adorable to me. Anyway, Rob, you saw all 3 episodes of The Boys. For you, how did this season start off? Did you like what you saw?
Dude, I'm with you. I mean, for me, all of this stuff lives and dies with the writing. And this show is doing so many things simultaneously. But first and foremost, all the characters have motivation. You understand what's going on with all of them. And not just our primary cast, but the secondary cast as well. Even Giancarlo Esposito, I was saying, what MVP player. Between that and Moff Gideon and Gus Fring and Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad,
yeah.
but the I mean what they're juggling and how all of it is satisfying. All of it. There's a narrative. Should I say the word thrust? A narrative thrust that runs through the show that it's propulsive and it's incredibly compelling. And I'm telling you, the way this show skewers sacred cows. I mean. I know when people talk about representation and they want to, this show certainly represents, and it maybe not in the way people would like them to, but my God, does this show is fearless. It is absolutely fearless from a socio-political standpoint, from a sexual standpoint, from a violent standpoint. I mean, this show does it all. And I'll tell you, it's also wildly creative. The effects work is jaw-dropping. And I'd have to say another word that I would use to describe the show is gooey. These 3 episodes were very gooey, and the gore. I mean, I don't understand how they do. Like I've actually slowed down when people blow up in this show. It's unbelievable. Like I love scanners, the head explosion scanners. That was 81. The stuff they do in this show, practically, and the effects. I mean, they employ these things. John, I got to tell you, I was so wildly entertained by these first 3 episodes. On many different levels. And I mean, there are flashbacks that are fascinating.
Yeah.
There are new characters introduced that are fascinating. The new mysteries, and you're just watching this, and it all of it, hanging over everything, is probably the scariest psychopath ever put on television.
Yeah.
In Homelander. That guy, his performance is great, but also every time he's on screen, dude, I get.
You feel dread.
Dude, I feel that's exactly it. Dread for everybody, like every single person. And I've never felt that way before. One of the great villains of all time.
I'll tell you what, too, in the midst of all the stuff that we were just talking about, the gore, the action, the absolute hilarity, there's a scene, I think it's in episode 2, where between a man and his ex-wife just sitting on a couch talking. And it's one of the best scenes of television that I've seen in months. I mean, it was just, in a show with all this bonkerness and all this, and the gore and blah, blah. And yet it was this scene of a man and his ex-wife sitting on a couch having a real discussion. And I was emotionally attached to it. I was riveted. I felt. And the other thing too is, you mentioned Homelander. I said this to you before the show started. It's amazing, and it came up in this season again. It is amazing how they make him the most vile psychopath, and yet the writing is so good that every once in a while you catch yourself having empathy for him at the same time. Like, it's insane how they've been able to do this with this character. Anyway, Chris, you saw the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
What's your impression been?
Oh man, things that I wanted to see on television. I went, not like this, not like this. This show does such a great job of lampooning not only superheroes as a whole, but our fan theories about superheroes.
Oh my God,
Oh my
yes.
God.
Yes,
It does
yes,
that
yes.
so well. Also, say no to drugs, kids. You're going to find out why if you haven't watched it. So these 3 episodes just are off to the races, and they are completely off the rails. And one of the things I think that is so fascinating with what they do on this show is not only do you empathize with these villainous, horrible characters, you also understand how people can bandwagon ideologies. You completely understand why people would connect with certain individuals or individual groups or things like that. And everyone's perspective is seen. And while you disagree with it vehemently, probably, I don't want to tell you what you believe, but you understand how they get righteous, virtuous followers on their side. And the storytelling in that way, you know, even though it is about superheroes, even though it is dripping with the most horrific violence I have ever seen, it's so grounded in its storytelling and relates to real life issues so well. It's such fascinating storytelling.
And you know what else, John? Like, I'm a fan of black sardonic humor. Like, Doctor Strangelove, which deals with the end of the world,
Right.
and it's funny as hell. You know, it's like the humor in this, I feel guilty at the stuff I laugh at.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I literally, I've never, as much as I like somebody who has a dark sense of humor, even this show goes beyond, and I am laughing my ass off, and then I catch myself, and I'm like, I'm going to burn in hell.
Yep.
And I am laughing at this. I should not be laughing at. I mean, this show, in terms of its entertainment value per minute, I'm hard pressed to come up with something I think that is more entertaining than this show.
And that's the thing about it too. That's where the brilliance of it lies. Because if you just look at it for 2 seconds, you might think, oh, it's just some gross superhero. The writing, the stories, what they're actually saying, the sociopolitical commentary,
Yes.
that it's actually brilliance wrapped up in this veneer of bonkersness. And I'll go so far as to say this. I am now 4 episodes into Stranger Things season 4. And I've been loving it. I think it's the best Stranger Things has been so far. I'm 2 episodes into The Boys. The Boys season 3 is better than Stranger Things season 4 to me so far.
Oh.
Now, ask me again once I finish season 4 of Stranger Things. Maybe I'll change my tune. But I mean, this is the best Stranger Things has been. This is the best The Boys have been so far, and I'm loving it.
And I feel too that, and Chris, John, I mean, this feels like it's unfettered in terms of its ability to go wherever they want to go. I mean, this show has a level of both puerile disgust and real elevated political discourse, sometimes in the same scene.
Yeah.
That is an incredibly deft balancing act. And I'm very, very impressed by this. And I'm sure a lot of, look, if you just want to watch, oh my God, watch it for its shock value, you can do it for that. But like, they go to an amusement park and I just, the stuff that happens it was so hilarious, even though it's subtle.
And by the way, I have never laughed so hard at A-Train.
Oh, yeah.
the little C-level storyline they've got going with A-Train. I'm just like, when he walks out on that stage, and I'm not going to give anything away. When he walks on the stage, they go, "What is he wearing?"
I mean, I mean, even that, the whole A-Train storyline. I mean, there are no sacred cows. Like, I thought South Park. I've always loved South Park. Their topical political humor, but you know what they're doing. This goes for things in such a way where, man, no one is beyond being made fun of. And wow, it's incredible.
Guys, want to remind you that we will go into all full open detail spoiler discussion on this thing at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today when we do our The Boys after show. Again, 4 p.m. today. Come on over and join us. We're going to cover the first 3 episodes. We can't wait to talk about it more with you guys there. All right. With that down, let's get into another off the top, and that is this. Do you hear it? The gong throughout the sky. It is the axe of Zaslav, and it has struck again. There's a show that came out to some fanfare because Ridley Scott was behind it a couple of years ago on HBO Max called Raised by Wolves. Now, some people completely love this show. I watched the first season of it and I was intrigued. I never fell in love with it, but I was into it enough that I kept watching and kept watching. And then season 1 finale happened. And I'm like, I'm out. I'm tapped out. This show is now just ridiculous to me. So even though they have a lot of really cool sci-fi concepts, I mean, it's very smart in many, many ways. Like I said, I followed it through to the end of season 1 and I'm like, nah, no more, I'm out. So I never did see season 2. But looks like ain't nobody going to see season 3. Because according to one of the stars of the show, now, what is his name again? He's the guy who plays Father in the show, and I'm missing on his name. Salim is his name. So he got on Reddit today, apparently, and basically posted a message saying that the show's been canceled. They're done. They're out. There will be no more. He wrote the following: power in community, finding a new home. It's not surprising, especially after the news of these mergers and what is happening at Warner Brothers, that a lot of shows are not having their stories finished. And unfortunately, one of those shows is Raised by Wolves. Nothing has been shared yet, but there is a reason for that, an important one, and one which I'm here to share with you now. There is hope, he said. Basically, it's this. So the star of the show has come out and said, we're being canceled. They're not officially announcing that yet because they're going to shop around and see if they can find a new home for it off of HBO Max. So he's there talking to the audience saying, hey guys, please start rallying, start a hashtag Saved by Wolves or whatever you can. There you go. I just made up the perfect hashtag for you. Saved by Wolves. Like, get a hashtag going, do whatever you can do to get this thing saved. I will not shed any tears for Raised by Wolves. Again, it is a very interesting show, and I love seeing shows swing for the fences like this one did. Didn't quite work for me, but again, like I acknowledge, there's a lot of people who absolutely love this show. And maybe it can. I am dubious about it finding a new home. Because when you look at Raised by Wolves, it feels like an HBO show. And I don't know that it can live on, I don't know that it would find a home on Amazon or if it would find a home. Netflix might be an option. Netflix might step in, but they've been tightening their belts a little bit lately. So I don't know about that. I mean, Netflix may look at it and say, hey, Raised by Wolves has a little bit of a built-in audience already. We do season 3, boom, new subscribers. I mean, it worked for them. It worked for them in spades with Lucifer. It worked for them even with Designated Survivor.
Yep.
Right? So take a show that's somewhere else, has a bit of a fan base, got canceled. Hey, fans. For those of you who aren't Netflix subscribers yet, so maybe Netflix, I don't know, Rob, you hear about them. Looks like they're going to be canceling Raised by Wolves. What do you think about it? And do you think it can find another home?
You know, I didn't love Raised by Wolves, but I liked it. I appreciated that it was something new and unique. Like when I was watching I watched the whole first season, thought when I got to the end, because the end has a strange note.
The end is strange.
You know, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I love this show, but I appreciate that it exists. Unfortunately, that doesn't really work. If you're not getting enough of an audience, having something that just exists isn't enough. It ain't show friends, it's show business. And if you're not doing some good business, well, then why is your show on the air? And this show is not cheap. You know, even though the locations aren't necessarily expensive, but still, it's not surprising to me. Now, I haven't seen all of season 2. Actually, I only watched the first episode of season 2. I don't know how it ends, but I can't imagine that it's certainly not a water cooler show. You know, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. When they are talking about it, they're like, geez, that was weird. You know, that's basically, that was a weird show. And okay. So I don't even know if it'll get picked up. Maybe Netflix might buy into it.
Apple Plus might not be a bad home for it too.
No, I mean, I could see, it seems more like an Apple Plus show anyway.
Yeah.
Really?
I just see more benefit for Netflix maybe picking them up.
But I just don't, I think it's probably done.
Chris, have you ever watched Raised by Wolves, and what do you think about its cancellation?
No, I had to Google what this was and then went, oh yeah, Ragnar's new show.
That's right.
I didn't watch this at all, so I am not surprised that it's gone.
Yes, a lot of people just never heard of it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you watch Raised by Wolves? If so, what did you think about it? What do you think about the fact that the star's coming out now ahead of the game and telling everybody, listen, guys, they're canceling us? Do you think it can find a new home? If so, where do you think it'll go? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below. and leave your thoughts there. Okay, guys, with that down, let's do one more off the top here, shall we? And that one more off the top is this. You know, I have an automatic Pavlovian response in my life. When I walk to a movie theater and I open up the door to go into the lobby, the moment I step into a lobby in a movie theater, my mouth starts to salivate. It's an automatic trigger response now because it's popcorn time. More specifically, it's butter time seasoned with some popcorn. And I love movie popcorn. I don't eat popcorn any other time. I don't make popcorn at home. Once in a while, I'll buy like one of those Chicago mix bags with caramel and cheddar corn. Once in a while, I'll do that. But really, I'm not a popcorn guy till I'm at the movies. And by the way, popcorn, not movies, popcorn are the financial lifeblood of a movie theater. Movie theaters don't make a lot of money off the movie tickets. They make their money off the popcorn. I once heard the head of at CinemaCon many years ago, the head of a movie theater chain say to the other movie theater owners quite correctly, ladies and gentlemen, we are not in the movie business. We are in the candy business. And that really is quite accurate. So when there was a shortage of movies during the pandemic, that hurt the theaters. If there's a shortage of popcorn, that could be apocalyptic for the movie theaters. And oh my God, it looks like there might be a popcorn shortage coming.
No.
I mean, it's crazy. This came out I read this on Forbes a little bit earlier today. But the basic idea is that there are supply chain issues, which we know right now are affecting a lot of different industries on a lot of different levels. Obviously, computer chips and baby formula. And there's a lot of different little things like ports that are overrun and can't bring in shipments fast enough. Like a lot of supply chain issues going on in the world right now. Well, apparently one of those big ones is going to be popcorn. This comes to us from the folks over at NBC, and they wrote the following. They said, for a certain time a few months ago, it was difficult to get canola oil. All right. Follow the blockchain here. Couldn't get canola oil for the popcorn. And it wasn't because they didn't have enough oil. It's because they didn't have the glue that encloses the box that the oil bib goes in. Said Ryan Winkle, the director of operations and technology at Prospector Theaters in Ridgefield, Connecticut. Okay, so follow the dominoes. We don't have the glue. Okay. Since we don't have the glue, we can't ship the oil. Okay. Since we can't ship oil, you can't make popcorn. I mean, it's just this weird little thing. And it looks like movie theaters are kind of bracing for, there could be, it's not imminent, but there could be a bit of a shortage of popcorn going around. So if you go to your local movie theater and you're like, can I have a medium popcorn? And they go, well, you like Milk Duds? I mean, that's probably it. But they're also saying, he says the plastic cups and straws have also been tough to get. Even certain candies like Sour Patch, watermelon, and Twizzlers. So all because different elements of the chain get broken, it manifests itself in a lot of different ways. And listen, this could be, again, it's not like the sky's about to fall. But there is potential here that this could be very bad for movie theaters because that's where they make their real money. Rob, you hear about this. What's your first thought?
Well, didn't Biden invoke the Defense Act to get baby formula made? I think it's time that he steps in and makes sure we get our popcorn. I mean, come on now. I mean,
priorities, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean,
you
we want
can
movie
make another
theaters
baby. I need to see popcorn.
And not only that, but women are making their own formula. So come on, man. I mean, maybe we should put this to the front of the line. Come on.
It's my favorite thing you've ever said.
Chris, what do you think about this?
I mean, I lost so many people when I told everyone on the internet that I do not like popcorn.
Right, yeah.
I like a hot dog. And I also bring my own snacks with me. So I'll go see movies with them and I pull out my bag of dried chili mangoes because I'm very, very cheap. But I know how important popcorn is. I need to post that picture of you lovingly showing Logan how to properly butter popcorn.
This is the way
it was the
you do
best
it.
moment of his life. And so if he can't eat his popcorn now, that's sad. And it really would be a real financial hit to these folks because one of the reasons why I don't buy these things is because they're so expensive, right? So much more expensive than your ticket half the time. And this is really where we get all of that money. And going to CinemaCon, going on that exhibitor floor, it really, really showcased, this is
all
the
candy.
lifeblood.
Yeah, it's all
Well,
food.
that's one of the best parts too of CinemaCon. On the last day, you can run around, you just get free candy because they don't want to pack it with them. Oh, I was on a sugar high for 5
Wow,
days.
why didn't you tell me about that trick? I didn't know that.
It was great. Next year,
man.
Rob.
By the way, I'm going to throw my wife under the bus here for a second. You talk about you'd sneak some stuff in. There was a period of time. So you guys know I worked with AMC theaters for a while. So everybody at AMC theaters knew who I was, particularly our home base AMC theater. That was AMC Burbank 16, still my favorite movie theater. But because they knew who I was, and like I just had, the gold card, I can just come and go into an AMC whenever I wanted, blah, blah. My wife Ann would take advantage of that sometimes, because like she would straight up forget hiding things. Like she started with hiding some M&Ms in a pocket or whatever. By the time near the end of my tenure at AMC, she was literally walking into the foyer, and Ray knows this is true. She would literally walk into the foyer of AMC theaters, literally with 2 bags of McDonald's in her hand, and no one's going to say anything to her because she's
Wow.
John Campea. And she'd like sit down in her seat. I'm like, honey, you're embarrassing me so much. She goes, I don't want to pay $6 for this. I know, but we're not, like, I work here, honey.
Anne's such a queen. I want that
She
energy always.
Plus, you know what? People who bring McDonald's into the movie theater, they interfere with the smell of the popcorn.
And they do.
Because the French fries are
Ooh,
competing.
Rob.
competing
You're just
competing
mad
with
because
the-
you didn't think of it.
You know
You're
what?
just mad because you didn't think.
That is not true. I do not like anything to screw with the effervescence
I'm
of
telling
the
you.
popcorn. When someone brings in fast food, I'm like, why you got to harsh my mellow?
But what if you go to AMC over at City Walk and you go to buy Margaritaville first and you get yourself some nachos and then you bring those nachos in?
Same. Although that's not as egregious because sometimes movie theaters do sell and they have nachos
Yeah.
themselves. So you don't feel. I mean, if
I'm
you
not
have the
ruining the
popcorn
vibe.
nacho smell, that's okay.
Okay.
But fast food French fries, totally a different
Well, especially
situation.
McDonald's.
This is I
Yeah.
can't,
There is no
McDonald's-
other smell that matches the McDonald's fried
Yeah.
smell.
since I can't smell this.
And,
Is
and I,
fascinating to me.
I think, like you said, John, Pavlovian response. Part of the joy of is opening that door and getting that
That smell.
and hear the sound.
Oh yeah,
I
Hear
like
the
I don't like
popcorn. I love hearing people kind of buzzing.
Yeah, yeah.
My thing is now the chicken chipotle burrito, double chicken.
Oh yes, he
right
does.
here
He
in my
does
right
that.
pocket.
loves you.
It's like 95 degrees outside. I'm still wearing a jacket for some strange reason. It's because
We're burrito smuggling.
Just so you know, we'll be going to a movie, right? And we'll be down and we'll go into Burbank and we'll go to the AMC Burbank 16 again, kind of my choice of theater to go to. And we'll be down there and we'll start walking towards the theater. We'll be in a group and Ray's with us and Ray will start to peel off. And like, where are you going? Going to get my popcorn. What that means is he's going into the Chipotle right beside. And he literally walks into the theater with this log, this meat log.
Yeah. Yep. It's for the Batman. You get it extra spicy so you don't fall asleep. That's it.
I mean,
Well,
That's
you
a
know what?
solid move.
I can appreciate the practical nature of you doing that. I'll give that to you.
All right, guys. Anyway, question is for you. It looks like there maybe could be a popcorn shortage and other things in the movie theaters. What are you
Or
going to
could
do?
go
if they do
wrong
that?
with the modern age,
What do
John?
you think about that? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. Before we get into our main topics here today, we're going to take a break and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode, our friends at Stamps.com. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Stamps.com. Now, guys, as a small business owner myself, I am always looking for ways to save costs, yes, but I know that our most valuable resource is time, and I'm always looking for things that can save us time. Stamps.com saves you both. Because when you're running a small business, every second counts. You can't afford to waste a single moment. So why are you still taking time out of your day to go to the post office when you could be using Stamps.com instead? Stamps.com makes mailing and shipping quick, easy, and cost-effective. How cost-effective? Well, you can get discounts that you can't find anywhere else, like up to 30% off USPS rates and 86% off UPS. And there's no special hardware technology you need. All you need is your regular computer and printer, no special supplies or equipment required. So guys, stop wasting time and start saving money when you use Stamps.com to mail and ship. Sign up with the promo code CAMPEA for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts needed. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code CAMPEA. And a big thank you to our friends at Stamps.com for sponsoring this episode of The John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move into our main topics here today. And how do we select our main topics in The John Campea Show? Well, it's really simple. You guys come up with them. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Chris, what is our first main topic today?
We are kicking things off with a very for why topic from It's Morbin Time. Time to get morbed, Campea crew. Like Michael Morbius himself, the summer of Morbius is reborn. According to comicbook.com, the cult classic Morbius is returning to over 1,000 theaters starting today after a series of Morb-related memes have been trending on Twitter for over a week. Will you guys be paying another visit to Dr. Morbius this weekend? Could it actually make its budget back this time? Maybe even make a profit? And does this increase chances of a sequel? John, there is no God. What are your thoughts?
Listen, I'll tell you, look, you guys know a little bit of context here. You guys know Morbius was one of my most anticipated movies. Chris just saw the little thing that Ray put up here on the screen. Morbius, for why? Morbius was one of my top 5 most anticipated movies of the year. I was so excited for this movie. I loved the trailers. I still love the trailers. I like Jared Leto as an actor very much. Academy Award winner. I was so excited for it. And then I watched it, and I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. There are a few elements of the movie that I still think, a few moments of the movie that I think are pretty good. And so I did not hate the movie, but I was very let down by it and very disappointed. And then it's capped off by this shit cherry with the worst ever post-credit scenes ever in a movie. So it kind of is what it is. Well, the movie didn't quite make its money back. It's a money loser. But one of the big cinema chain, distributor and exhibitor companies put out a tweet saying, hey, and I'm not getting the exact number right. He goes, we've had a dream of seeing Morbius making, instead of 174.3 million, it can now make 174.4 million. And they announced that they were re-releasing Morbius into like 1,000 screens. And sure enough, I thought it was a joke at first. And then I went to AMC's website. Nope, there it is on the schedule this weekend. You want to go? And you know what? I might just go watch it again. Because I only saw it the once. So I just might go watch again. All right, the 2 questions they asked. Could this make the movie profitable? No. Now, I mean, they're going to make a little bit of money here. Some people are going to morbidly go back like me.
Morbidly?
Morbiously. Some people are going to morbidly go back like me. I'm going to give it one more chance on the big screen just because I was so excited about it. So I'm going to do that. But it's not going to make much. Second, does this increase the chances for a sequel? No, it doesn't. Now, look, by the way, I don't think it's impossible that they give this movie a sequel. I don't think this increases the chances, though. So I'm not sitting here definitively saying there's never going to be a sequel. I'm just saying this will not increase the chances of it. So, you know what? Why not? We had a couple of extra screens. Put Morbius back in there. See if we can take advantage of the buzz it's getting. I know, Rob, you going to rush back out to go see Morbius again?
No, I'm going to see your good Canadian kid, David Cronenberg, one of my favorite directors' new movie, Crimes of the Future, is in theaters this weekend.
Come on, double feature.
You couldn't pay me to go
feature.
You couldn't pay me to see this again. Like, you know what? I have to say, first of all, it's not that this is a bad movie. It's just monumentally disappointing on so many levels. And to me, that's worse. Because you know what? If something is really bad, sometimes you can revel in the badness. This was just kind of like, meh. And I hate when people go, meh, on Twitter. I want to punch them in the face. But this defines meh to me. This movie it should have been made for me. I was Morbius the Living Vampire. I love that shit. And this was like, really? Really? And like you said, there's some cool stuff in this movie.
Yeah, there are some redeeming things.
You know what this needed more The Boys. From now on, I'm just going to say this needed a little bit more Boys season 3 in it. That's what it needed.
Chris, when I sent out the show notes, I could just feel the energy and excitement from you coming out. You've been waiting for this. What do you think about Morbius coming back?
This is so stupid. When this movie came out, I remember tweeting, I would rather see so many Improv 101 shows than go see this film again.
Now that's pretty skewering.
And I, unlike Rob, I could be paid to see this. I'm pretty cheap. right? But I just don't understand.
I'm not even
Not
gonna
even
go
gonna
there.
be, there's not even going to be
Not even gonna go
popcorn there. There's not even going to be any popcorn there.
Ideal situation. So I just cult classic. Let's talk about that phrasing here too, right? This is a movie that didn't do well. It's not a cult classic, and until we start taking a cue from Jeremy Johns, right, and crushing Capri Suns and throwing them at the screen or something, it doesn't have a room quality to it, right? Of us throwing footballs in a theater and throwing spoons at the screen. That's a cult classic. A cult classic is Rocky Horror Picture Show and yelling at somebody who hasn't seen the show before that they're a virgin and they have to go to the stage up front and singing along with everyone and dancing. This doesn't have any joy in it. Why would I go see it again?
Ray, you were a big fan of Morbius. You're going to run back out and see this again?
I never. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. So, does that mean it's going off of streaming? Because that's where I was going to watch it.
I don't think it's. I never made it to streaming. I don't think.
It's not on streaming.
Now you
I
just
don't
have
think-
more options for being
Yeah, I
disappointed.
don't. I could be wrong
This is
about
it,
that,
then.
but I don't think
None
it
of
ever
the
made it to
streamers
streaming.
wanted to pick it
They're
up.
backing us into a corner, Jonathan. Me and Jonathan haven't seen it, so
There we go.
We
Maybe
were talking off mic. We haven't seen it, so I think this is our chance to see
yeah.
greatness.
It's
maybe
only one
over
day.
lunch today. Maybe
It's
over
only in
lunch
theaters
today. You
for
guys
one
should
day.
run over to Tyler.
You want us to drive for this movie? No, thank you, man.
I mean, I gotta set up for the
Drive?
boys. I gotta set up Studio B. I don't have time for that.
All right,
No,
guys.
no, wait. I'm
Okay.
going to ask you seriously.
All right.
You guys, is it at least worth one watch?
You know, Ray, you and I have different opinions about movies sometimes, so I think you might end up having more fun than me. So sure.
And listen, no, I've heard from some people that had fun with the movie
Yeah.
that
Yep.
like it. So you may. I mean,
Okay.
anybody may. And like I said, I didn't hate it. I was just disappointed by it. That's all.
Look, I would say you should watch the 1970 Hammer movie, Vampire Circus.
No,
If
no,
you want
you
to see a
shouldn't.
vampire
No,
movie,
you shouldn't.
that's my favorite Hammer movie, Vampire Circus.
Okay.
I've got the. Would you be surprised to know I have it on Blu-ray? Happy
All right,
loyalty.
guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? It is Morbin time. Are you going to rush back? Are you going to gather your friends and family, take your children, and go and see Morbius this one last time on the big screen?
Oh, God.
What do you guys think about this? Jump on down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This one comes from Alan Renshaw. I know you didn't like the Hawkeye series, but I enjoyed it. I just saw that Marvel changed its Emmy submission from limited series to comedy series. Do you think this means we're getting a season 2?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. Now, we have been saying for a long time, because Disney said it for a long time, Hawkeye was a limited series. And of course, if you submit for a limited series, there are now stricter rules because of all the streaming shenanigans, particularly because of that one, what's it called? Something Big Lies. What's it called? Big Little
Big
Lies.
Little Lies.
Yeah.
Because of Big Little Lies. Because Big Little Lies came out and it was supposed to be a limited series, so it got nominated for a limited series. I think it won Best Limited Series. And they said, oopsie, we're going to do season 2, which, well, that kind of broke the spirit of what limited series is. So they made more strict rules. And so if you're submitting Hawkeye under the Best Limited Series category, that means you can't have a season 2. Well, apparently, Disney's changed their minds because now they've pulled it and they're not submitting it under limited series. They're submitting it under comedy series. Now, this comes to us from the folks over at Variety who write the following. The Hawkeye series has been submitted for Emmy attention in the comedy categories instead of the presumed limited series field. With the switch in categories, all signs indicate that a potential second season of the Hawkeye superhero saga is in the future for Disney+, though no official announcement has been made. In addition to seeking love for outstanding comedy series, stars Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld will angle for Best Lead Actor in a Comedy Series and Best Lead Actress in a Comedy Series consideration. In the supporting categories, Disney has also submitted Vincent D'Onofrio, Fra Free, Tony Dalton, Aliqua Cox, Florence Pugh, and Vera Farmiga. So that comes to us from Variety. So, the worst Marvel show they've ever done, other than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but we're in the Disney Plus era, the worst show they've done, Hawkeye. It's the only Marvel thing I just didn't like. And I didn't hate it. Like, Hawkeye for me, it was 50-50. Like, going into the final episode, I'm like, the final episode will determine whether I like this show overall or didn't like the show overall. And the finale was not all that good. So I ended up not liking the show overall. But it seemed pretty definitive. It was going to be a one-shot, 6 stupid episodes, and that was it. Now, Variety is saying all signs are now pointing that they want to do this again. And I'll say this. While I did not like Hawkeye, I thought it was bad. But while I didn't like it, I love that character, man. I love Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye. I really, really do. And as odd as it may sound to say I didn't like Hawkeye, I'd be up for trying another season if they think we've got ways we can make it better and we can improve it and all that kind of stuff. If they do, I might be okay with it. So if that happens, I'm all right. Chris, you hear this. Do you think this shift, like Variety seems to be thinking, hey, this shift kind of leads to indications they're going to plan to do another one. Do you agree with that assessment? And if so, would you be down for Hawkeye season 2?
I would be into it, honestly. And I do think this means that they're at least open to the possibility of this not being a limited series, right? They don't want to take away from any of the accolades it could win, ? It's very... It's very, very bold of you, Disney. But I do think a season 2 could be very, very interesting because they did get a lot of things right here. The casting of Kate Bishop, Haley Steinfeld is
was
wonderful
perfect
in
casting,
this.
actually. Yeah.
That was really great. Having Hawkeye's hearing loss finally showcased, right? I really enjoyed that and having that in there. I really think in season 2 too, we could get more about his wife's backstory because that's what I was really interested in by the end of the season.
Because they dropped little hints about who she actually is at the end of it. Yeah.
And that I think is very, very compelling. And I would tune in for that. And plus, Jeremy Renner, I agree, is really, really great as this character. I want him to have a showcase piece that really serves him well.
Rob, what do you think about this?
Well, I think I liked Hawkeye a little more than you, but I didn't love it. And I felt like the story, what I really liked is it felt like it was shot on location, like they were in and around New York.
Yeah.
Like I really liked that. But the overall story, I just felt was kind of, well, do I say it's twice in one show? Meh.
Yeah.
There wasn't
You're
after
gonna punch
watching
yourself so much.
I know. I know it's terrible. When you watch Hawkeye, like where he was at Endgame, like he was almost suicidal in a way. Yeah, you can test time travel out on me. I don't care. And where he was as the Ronin character after having lost his family, he seemed like kind of such a sad sack in this show. I know he was helping out Kate Bishop, but I wanted to love this show more than I did, and I liked a lot of it. I mean, I thought that car chase on the bridge.
Oh, the car chase on the bridge
fun.
was great.
That was really
one of the
it was-
highlights.
Yeah, it was really awesome, and I really loved Haley Steinfeld. I thought she was great, but the storyline with the tracksuit mafia, I know normally I'd say like,
Bro.
yeah, bro.
Oh, let's not start that.
I mean, it came right out of the comics, which I appreciated, but after watching this, I'm like, it just didn't. It didn't float my boat the way I wanted it to. So that's go ahead.
I was going to say, I also did like the LARPers. I really liked them.
Oh, yeah, there's certain things like, for
I thought
instance,
they were
take the
sweet.
Kate Bishop thing, right? The casting of Haley Steinfeld was perfect. But to the people who, like some Fantasyland, were complaining, oh, this is supposed to be an Obi-Wan show and it's a Reva show. No, Obi-Wan had way more screen time than Reva does. You want to see that? Go watch the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. Where the show is called Hawkeye, right?
Yeah.
And like it was just all Kate Bishop and that. So I had no problem with the casting. Haley Steinfeld, first of all, she is so freaking delightful.
Yeah.
She can do anything.
Yeah.
Like absolutely anything.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And I'm not even saying that because she's part Filipino, but I think she is absolutely incredible. And she was perfect casting for the character. And she did start to grow on me. The character started growing on me by the end, but I just thought there was more that they could possibly do with it.
Yeah, I just thought the storyline overall was just a little slight.
Yep.
And I wanted to see more of it. And the actors, Vera Farmiga, I always love her.
She's great.
Vincent D'Onofrio is great. And even like the person they cast as Echo.
But was Vincent D'Onofrio great
well, that's
in
the thing.
this turn of it?
No. and I mean, he's a great actor, but even as Kingpin, I wasn't having fun with Kingpin the way
Not
I
like
liked.
we used to have fun with him in
No.
Daredevil. Like he was one of the best characters on television.
No, and then the plot of what was going on with her mother and the mother's boyfriend and all that. I'm like, is this really a Marvel show? What is going on here?
Yeah.
It was more grounded, I think, the show, right? Yeah, it was just a more grounded show.
There's a few people on the saying it's there was Morbin time. It's Brobin time, bro. Brobin time. Anyway, guys, question is for you. It's being speculated now by Variety and others that it looks like they might be angling to have a Hawkeye season 2. If so, would you be down for that? Did you like the first season? Did you not? Maybe you think there's room to grow in a second one. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. You know how the tracksuit mafia could run so swift? because they had Me Undies, silky, comfortable underneath them. So we want to thank one of the sponsors of today's episode, our friends at Me Undies. We want to take a second and thank the sponsors of this video, Me Undies. Guys, when you've got a job like mine where you're sitting down talking about movies or sitting down and watching a lot of movies, you learn to appreciate a really good pair of underwear. And this summer, guys, why suffer through junk swamp with that 20 pairs in a plastic bag junk that we normally buy for ourselves when you could be enjoying this summer wearing the most breathable, softest, most comfortable underwear out there, Me Undies. I've been wearing Me Undies for a little while now, and I'm telling you, I am never going back. Because let's face it, guys, summer is sweaty, but your butt doesn't have to be. With Me Undies light and breathable micro model fabric, you can stay comfy and cool all summer long. They have super fun seasonal prints and tons of styles to choose from in any size from extra small to 4XL, so you can bring the beach to your butt without ever leaving your living room. Make it a soft summer with Me Undies. Me Undies has a great offer for my viewers and listeners. For any first-time purchasers, you get 15% off. If you sign up for their free-to-join membership, you can apply that 15% off to their already discounted membership prices. So to get 15% off your first order and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to meundies.com/Campea. That's meundies.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends Me Undies for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. No lie, guys, I am never going back to another kind of underwear. I love Me Undies. By the way, when you support the sponsors of our show, you're actually supporting our show. So if you want to try out any of our sponsors, their links and the promo codes are all down in the description of this video. So go and check them out.
I'm buying some of those Batman.
The
boxer
Batman
briefs.
ones?
I keep seeing them. I'm like, I got to get me some of those.
All right, guys, with that down, let's move into main topic number 3. Chris, what is our third main topic today?
Third topic is coming from Hunter Moon. Hey, John, this is actually my first time writing something to you.
Oh, thank you for writing in.
I just saw earlier today that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has been confirmed to stream on Disney Plus June 22nd, making it around the 45-day window of releasing. What do you think about the news that this movie is streaming quicker than other MCU movies like Shang-Chi and Eternals?
All right, thanks a lot for writing that in. Now, of course, the new reality in the exhibitor movie world is a 45-day standard window. Now, it used to be 90, which was better, but it used to be a 90-day window. Then some people try to get rid of it altogether, but so they kind of settled on 45 days. Now, 45 days does not mean that every movie that comes out must come out on home video 45 days later. Not true at all. It still leaves the studios flexibility to release it however long. Others like Shang-Chi, Eternals, and others will have a much longer window for whatever their reasons are, right? So it was not terribly surprising to find out that Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, which is now kind of running out of steam at this point, is coming out this month. This comes to us from the folks over at Variety who wrote the following. After reigning over the box office, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness will hit Disney Plus this month. The Benedict Cumberbatch-led movie arrives on streamer June 22nd. That's like 3 weeks away. Just a handful of weeks after its May 6th release, the film debuted to an astonishing $185 million at the box office, making it the 11th highest domestic opening of all time and the biggest launch of 2022. And again, that comes to us from the folks over at Variety. And Ray, can you look up for me what's been the total worldwide box office now for Doctor Strange? Because I believe it sailed past 900.
I just looked it up.
How much?
It's $880,983,652. So just shy of 900 million.
And I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think any Marvel movie has ever finished between 900 million and $1 billion. I think every movie they've ever put out falls just short of 900 million or goes past $1 billion. I could be wrong about that. What do you got there?
I don't know about that, but it made over $500 million internationally.
Yeah. The international market loves Doctor Strange.
So, for those, it's interesting because now we throw around the numbers like 1 billion as if everything can do that.
Yeah.
That's still, 880 million is a very respectable number for this
and
movie.
I think it'll get to 9. I think if not, it'll just come a little bit shy. But with worldwide numbers, to get another 19 point something, I think maybe it can do it at any rate here.
And it's only been released. It came out May 6th.
Yeah, so
it's not even out for a month.
Yeah, it'll be the 45 day. It'll be just outside of the 45 days. So it's a standard thing. but I'm not surprised, and here's why. I like Doctor Strange
I
in the
do too.
multiverse. I've seen it a number of times in theaters. I had a good time with it. I do not think it is one of the premier MCU movies, though. Like, I call it second tier. And the second tier for Marvel is still much better than most other places. But I say it's second tier Marvel. As a result of being second tier Marvel, it hasn't had the water cooler, the long-lasting water cooler effect, like a movie like Shang-Chi. A movie like Shang-Chi, which didn't make as much money as Doctor Strange did, but nobody saw it coming. I mean, that movie came out, and everybody like me just talked about it and talked about it and talked about it and talked about it and had those kinds of legs, right? So I'm honestly not, I don't sense that with Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. So I'm not really surprised they're going to go the 45 plus day release window. And I know I'll be watching it when it drops on Disney Plus. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this. Does it surprise you they're doing the 45?
No. I mean, I think that they probably saw that it made money hard and fast, and then it's kind of played itself out in less than a month. You know, John, this is going to seem weird to people. People are going to probably say, like, what? I see this movie as the arachnophobia of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Please explain.
Well, okay, because Arachnophobia is a good movie. It's fun. A
Is
lot of
it?
people like, but it's not a great, like, people don't. It's not Gremlins.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
it's Arachnophobia, and it's. I mean, maybe you like Arachnophobia more, but
No, I like Gremlins more, but I get where you're going.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I mean, it's a movie that is, people like it. It's respectable. Like, I see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness like a good summer annual. You know, you're reading your Doctor Strange comics. There's a really good kind of standalone summer annual where Doctor Strange goes into the multiverse, and it's satisfying. It doesn't really play into the rest of the ongoing Doctor Strange comic. It's just a cool annual, and you really like, wow, that's neat. It's kind of a self-contained story. Now, yes, this builds off of things like WandaVision and all that, but like you said, to me, exactly what you said. It's second-tier Marvel. I mean, it's got ramifications that they can use,
Yeah.
but it's kind of a story unto itself. Wong kicked a little ass. Doctor Strange kicked ass. The multiverse was cool. Wanda went bananas. We got to see all kinds of things like the Illuminati. But ultimately, it felt like outside of this movie, if someone said, hey, Steven, what'd you do last weekend? Dude, I was in the multiverse. You would not believe all the people and the crazy stuff that happened to me. But Banner would be like, really? I didn't know that. And Doctor Strange would have to explain to all the other Marvel characters what actually happened in the multiverse.
You know, here's the strange thing about Doctor Strange. Strange thing about Doctor Strange is this. There are a number of things in this movie that I completely love, but I can't really put my finger on why, to me, it's second tier Marvel. For example, the Wanda stuff. I told you this. I honestly think the Wanda story is one of the best things Marvel has ever done. The journey of Wanda Maximoff to this point in this, what she did in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I think is one of the most compelling, fantastic things they've written and done, this whole journey of hers, including what they did here. I loved Wong in it. I loved the cameos. I thought was a lot of fun. There's a lot of things in this movie that I really loved, and I've never really, but it's definitely second tier Marvel to me, but I've never really been able to put my finger on what is it about it that drags? I mean, for me, the second act dragged kind of slow, but yeah, it's just not as satisfying as like what I would say would be the top 10 Marvel movies. I don't know. You hear about this, Chris. What are you making of this?
I mean, this makes sense to me timeline-wise because June we have so many heavy hitters coming to theaters.
Yeah.
We've got Jurassic World, we've got Lightyear, The Black Phone, which you all will see and I will not. You know, we've got a lot of movies coming out that I think, Elvis too. And I know it's not necessarily the same demographic that is your Doctor Strange crew, but I think also you've got a whole bunch of other, coals in the fire that Multiverse of Madness is going to kind of lose its steam by this point anyway. I love the summer annual comparison. That was brilliant.
Well, I mean, I feel too that, both WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness tell this great story about Wanda Maximoff, and I agree. A lot of pathos there, really interesting, but it was kind of hermetically sealed away from the rest of the big MCU. Like, when I was reading, I went back and read Avengers Disassembled, and it was Wanda attacking. She was attacking all of the Avengers in the MCU. And it was huge. It was this big, long, when you find out what's going on, Doctor Strange comes and says there is no chaos magic. And it's this far-reaching storyline with ramifications that ripple across the MCU. It feels like the Wanda Maximoff story between WandaVision and this is sealed off from the rest of the.
Oh yeah, I'm perfectly good with that. Actually, I wish they would do more of that.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Like standalone, but it didn't have. I think that's why I feel it was lesser Marvel, because it wasn't affecting all of the other
wider
characters.
scoping things.
Yeah.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? June 22nd, like 3 weeks from now, basically, Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness is going to be on Disney Plus. What do you think about that? Are you surprised a little bit earlier than you thought it would be? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move into main topic number 4. Chris, what is our 4th main topic today?
Our 4th topic is from Heisenberg. Hi, John and Co. Hope all are well and enjoying the new studio. Justin Kroll from The Deadline was talking about Feige looking for big-name directors for MCU's Fantastic Four movie as, quote, he doesn't want to oversee the entire shoot after not having to worry about that with Sam Raimi. Doctor Strange 2 was good, but not a great movie like we all expected it to be. The MCU has always been great overall because of Kevin Feige being hands-on. Do you think this will affect the movie's quality as a result of him not willing to oversee the entire shoot? Thanks and bring on the filthy.
All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in. Appreciate that. And of course, we all know Fantastic Four is coming. Not really sure when, but it's coming. They told us 2 years ago, Fantastic Four is coming. And John Watts was going to direct it. Then we found out John Watts is, no, I'm directing some Star Wars stuff. So he's off doing that. And also, he still has that George Clooney, Brad Pitt movie that he's doing as well. So his dance card's full. So some of us started theorizing. Could it be John Krasinski coming in to do this? Or could it be another director, what have you? But who's going to direct Fantastic Four has still been a question that's up in the air. And apparently, it's a question that hasn't been answered yet, but they are looking for top names. This comes to us from the folks over at The Direct, who wrote the following. According to Deadline's Justin Kroll, there's a large mix of candidates in the search to replace John Watts as the director of Fantastic Four following his recent departure. Marvel Chief Creative Officer Kevin Feige and his team are, quote unquote, are taking a lot of shots at some big names. No names have currently surfaced for who could be cast or hired as director. However, regarding the production of Fantastic Four, one source told Kroll that Kevin Feige doesn't want to oversee the entire shoot, and after not having to worry about that with Raimi, he is very game for the same outcome with this shoot. All right, 2 extremely big things here that Justin from the Direct from Deadline is saying. Number 1. They're aiming for big names in the director's chair. This is not something that Kevin Feige normally does. He loves mining out these storytellers that nobody else is paying attention to. Who heard of the Russo brothers, really? Before Kevin Feige was like again, they're the you, me, and Dupree guys. But he knew these guys are on the same page as me. I can direct this with them. Or Peyton Reed. Peyton Reed has got some stuff, but he wasn't a household name. John Watts was not a household name. I mean, he tends to like to go for those kinds of directors. Sam Raimi was a bit of a departure, which is great. But him saying now, I'm shooting at big names. And when somebody says big names, how many big names are there in the directing world?
Oh, not many.
Not a lot. Are we talking Tarantino? Are we talking Christopher Nolan? Are we talking Peter Jackson? Are we talking frickin' a Steven Spielberg directed MCU movie?
Marty Scorsese. Eating his words and coming to the MCU.
Spike Lee. I just, the imagination starts to go out. So that's big thing number 1. Number 2 is something I have been saying for a long time, that my big concern with this rapid expansion of the MCU is this. Kevin Feige ain't going to have the same control over the projects anymore, and Kevin Feige's direct hand on everything has been the magic sauce that has made the MCU what it is. And I've been saying this for a while, that with all the projects they're doing, Kevin Feige is going to be less and less and less directly involved with these things, and I believe that's one of the reasons why the overall super high level of quality of Marvel has come down a little bit. Still very good. Still very good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm still enjoying it a great deal. But you can feel it. And that comment right there saying, Kevin didn't go hands-on with Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange ended up being a good movie, but second tier Marvel. And my fear now is with all the crap they've got going on, that's going to become more and more common. Kevin Feige's thumbprints are going to be less and less on the MCU, and I'm worried about that. Still, that being said, Rob, two big things here. Shooting for big name directors. Who could they be talking about, do you think? Who could you see as a fit that would be a big name? And secondly, the comment about Feige maybe not being as hands-on anymore.
First of all, you said two words that now is stuck. I never put this together, but now it's all I want. I want Steven Spielberg to direct Fantastic
Oh God,
Four.
how great would that be? How great would that be?
I mean, he's making the biopic about his family.
Yep.
Now I can't think of a better director whose sensibilities are more perfect for Fantastic Four than Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Now that I'm getting chills thinking about it.
You think of the awe and wonder of a E.T., of Close Encounters. You take that kind of sensibility and put it to a Fantastic Four.
And you know what? We now live in a world where I believe, and Steven Spielberg has done a lot of things. Like in the latter half of his career, like you got classic Spielberg. You've got Jaws, you've got Close Encounters, you've got Raiders, you've got E.T., Empire of the Sun. You go all, and then you've got sort of middle era Spielberg with Schindler's List and Jurassic Park and Saving Private Ryan. And then after that, when he's doing all kinds of things. War of the Worlds and Minority Report could be great movies for anybody, but for Spielberg, kind of mid-level. Then he does like War Horse and Tintin and all West Side Story, unbelievably well directed. Dude, Steven Spielberg should make Fantastic Four. And then Kevin Feige's like, yo, you guys got this.
Well, yeah, like if Steven Spielberg is directing Fantastic Four, I have no problem with Kevin Feige
would want. I mean, and I don't think that there is a better superhero movie than Fantastic Four, which is essentially a family.
Yeah.
For him to direct, that sense of awe and wonder, he could handle Galactus. He could handle, if he has to bring in Doctor Doom, he could do all that. I want Steven Spielberg. This is what I want, John. Please make it happen. You do lots of magical stuff. But when it comes to in terms of Kevin Feige, obviously, like you said, there's the expansion of the MCU. There's more TV shows. They're branching off into animation. And I can see, because he's got other things, other movies, newer movies, new characters. I'm sure that he has to oversee something like Marvel's, because he's got Miss Marvel. I could see that would require more of his attention. He already worked with Sam Raimi because he worked on the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
He knows Raimi. He's like, you got this, buddy. You've already made 3 movies. You get it. Steven Spielberg, he'd be like, show me some dailies, man. I'll watch your dailies.
It's the one guy, I think, in the industry that Kevin Feige would show up and say, Mr. Spielberg. What do you think, Steven?
Can you imagine? I mean, even when Steven Spielberg does something like Ready Player One.
God, and I love that movie.
I have to tell you, I was never a big fan of the book. And a lot of people don't like that movie, but as far as, I mean,
I don't understand, because I thought
he
the movie
changed things, like brought The Shining into it, which I thought I'm like, Gundam, RX-78, classic Gundam armor. I mean, the classic mobile suit. That alone. And that movie's a hell of a lot of fun. If he could bring that sense of, now I'm obsessed, dude.
And West Side Story was still, to me, still the best movie of last year.
I mean, he's still at the height of his powers. Please, Steven Spielberg. Please make West Side Story. You did that.
Four.
Please make Fantastic Four. I it's something I wanted him to make a musical ever since the opening number of Temple of Doom. In my mind, I've wanted to see a Steven Spielberg superhero movie because he would elevate that material. His direction, the way he can move the camera. I mean,
do you remember for a while there, he was attached to a DC project about the fighter plane pilots,
Blackhawk.
Blackhawk.
Yeah.
He was connected to that for a while.
I know.
That kind of fell
I mean,
apart.
that was more of a World War II, and I love Blackhawk. I have an action figure. I have a good Blackhawk action figure.
Chris, what do you think about all this? Number one, who do you think could direct? What do you think are some of the names they're saying when they say they're going after big names? And what do you think about the fact of Kevin Feige maybe being less hands-on now?
I mean, like my esteemed colleague here, I really want it to be Spielberg, because the first family, come on, that'd be great. And I do love the idea of, as we go further into the MCU, having these notable directors like a Peter Jackson, like a Guillermo del Toro coming into the mix and giving everything their kind of flavor. I think that'd be
Guillermo
great.
del Toro, Fantastic Four.
Him handling creatures would be dope as hell. It'd be so good.
dope.
It would be so good. But it also makes sense to me, too, that Kevin Feige is taking a step back, not only because it seems like he has his sights set on Star Wars, but also the Bob Chapek of it all. he doesn't have the same control over films like he did
This
before.
is true. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you already are being told, hey, you're in control, but you're not, are you really going to want to step up and be very, very hands-on if ultimately you are still kind of a middleman now when you used to get to have final say on everything?
And David Zaslav is texting you every 2 days saying, hey,
baby,
we'll
I'll
give
treat you
control.
right.
Right.
Listen, baby, I know how you want to do things. It'll be fine over here. No, you're going to take a step back and you're going to reevaluate what you want to do too. But
By the way,
I like this.
You know what a byproduct of a Steven Spielberg Fantastic Four movie would be?
What's that?
If it happens soon, a John Williams score.
It would have to be real soon.
I would have to be real soon, and I know
Yeah.
John Williams is going to be scoring Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But you know what? How great would it be to get a John Williams Marvel Universe score?
Williams would work till 100 with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. Yep.
He would totally do it. Anyway, guy, we got to move on here. But guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Oh, Ray, what do you got?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought Ray was going to. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Number one, the concerning thing for me that Kevin Feige, by necessity, is having to become less hands-on because of the sheer number of projects, but also they're going after big name directors. Who do you think those names could be? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there.
All right, John, I just had to interrupt for a second, only because our premium member, Dr. Nova, he actually gifted 5 memberships to, I don't know if it was random people in the chat.
Oh,
but
I
I just want to
totally-
thank him for that. That was really nice of him.
I totally forgot that. I forgot YouTube has turned on gifted memberships. So if you're a member on our channel and you want to give memberships to other people in the chat, you can now gift memberships to
Do you have
people.
to
in
set that up, or did that just happen?
I didn't have to set it up. I think you have to, but you can go in and you can just gift memberships to other people. They have to accept it, and it would just go to 5 random people or 10 random people, however.
Wow.
many people. So thank you. Which one of our members?
Dr. Nova.
Dr. Nova. Thank you, Dr. Nova. That was really cool of you to do. All right. With that now down, guys, let's move on to our 5th and final main topic today. Chris, what is our 5th main topic today?
It's all your hopes and dreams, and it's from John Atwell. Hey, John, love the new setup. I read on Twitter that according to the Wrap, Zaslav is allegedly canceling all Superman projects in development in order to bring back Henry for a fresh start. How reliable is this information, and do you think the start will align of us Cavill Superman fans? Thanks so much.
All right. Okay, so there's a number of levels this we need to talk about this. First of all, Henry Cavill is the greatest Superman of all time. You've heard me say a million times. We'll say it 1,000,001. Zack Snyder's Man of Steel is the most underrated comic book film ever made. I clearly have a bit of a soft spot for this movie. I love this movie passionately. I've been wanting Henry Cavill back as Superman badly. There is a lot of drama going on over at Warner Brothers right now since Zaslav has come in, wielding his axe, culling shows left, right, and center, killing off movie projects, getting things whipped into shape, conversing with Alan Horn, maybe the greatest movie executive of the past 20 years, now talking to, like, all these things are going on. In the midst of that, we also heard that David Zaslav, the new boss of Warner Brothers, is very dissatisfied with the arrangement and deal they have with Bad Robot. That's J.J. Abrams' thing, and the lack of production we've seen coming out of it. And there have been whispers and rumors that maybe they would kill that off. And maybe, just maybe, we could get Henry Cavill back again. Well, listen, a bit of a firestorm started going on online last night because several outlets were reporting that, let me take one step back. The Wrap came out with the story and started to discuss the whole Henry Cavill and Superman thing. A bunch of other outlets picked up on that, and the other outlets, stories in the other outlets were saying the Wrap is telling us that David Zaslav has instructed that they want to kill off all the Superman projects in develop right now and to make it a priority to get Henry Cavill's Superman back up and running again.
Smart.
To which I was like, I won't show you the dance that I did, but there was a dance.
Was it a break dance?
It was not a break dance, but it was a very happy dance. And I danced freely and frolicked around the living room, the idea that Henry Cavill would come back. However, that joy was a little bit short-lived.
Uh-oh.
Because what happens many times in the online sphere is that the quotes were not quite accurate. Because while all these sites were saying The Wrap is reporting that David Zaslav has instructed their people to do this. That's not quite true. So when I finally got around to reading the actual quote from The Wrap, it doesn't kill my happiness, but it's not quite as enthusiastic. This is what got actually written over at The Wrap, and they wrote the following. What could the new DC plan be going forward? Will the new DC chief follow the plan laid out by the Flash movie or start something new altogether? If anything, they'll go back to individual movies unless DeLuca has some plan, according to a DC insider. They need to get an effing Superman movie off the ground. And if the plan is a shared universe, a Henry Cavill-led Superman needs to be the focal point. The DC insider added that Zaslav's team should scratch every Superman project in development and start fresh with Cavill. Let me read that last part there again. The DC insider said that Zaslav's team should scratch every Superman project in development and start fresh with Cavill. This is the reason I always telling our viewers, when you read a story on one site, see what the source is, and then go and see what they said at the source. Because all these outlets started writing, David Zaslav has directed his people to scratch other Superman projects and prioritize the Henry Cavill thing. And that is not what the report said. The report said that one of the inside people at the company said Zaslav should scrap all these things and go the Superman route. So that is a big, big difference between Zaslav directed his people to do that and somebody inside the company saying Zaslav should do something like that. So I'm not going to lie to you. That kills a bunch of my enthusiasm. And my dance became a little bit more of a shuffle that I was doing. However, it does not kill my enthusiasm. Because if an insider, and again, this is just me with my speculation, all right? But if somebody inside the company is talking about this, that means there's talk, right? If you've got somebody in the company that is actually coming out and saying this out loud, that means there's talk going on inside the company. And just the very fact that within the company, Henry Cavill's name is still being pushed and all that kind of stuff, we are hearing, and by the way, it is just a theory, but it is a theory that does line up with certain facts that we know. Zaslav is very unhappy with the J.J. Abrams deal that they have right now. They very well could be axing those Superman projects altogether. And if they do, there's been word going around that David Zaslav is a fan of Henry Cavill. So, I mean, this is something that could very well happen. Then again, we know that David Zaslav right now is looking for a new Kevin Feige, a new head chief of DC Studios that they're going to set up and make its own separate thing. And he may very well want to wait and let that person make that decision, whatever. So what this ultimately says to me is that it is still possible that we could see the greatest Superman ever, Henry Cavill, the second half of this Campea Cavill bromance. I mean, he won't say that publicly, but we got a bromance going on. No, but that Henry Cavill, I believe this tells us there is still a possibility. However, for those of you who read one of the other outlets and their reporting of the Wrap report saying that Zaslav has directed his people, that's just bad writing. That's just bad reporting. That is not what happened. That is not what the Wrap says. So I'm enthusiastic, just not as enthusiastic. Chris, you read about this, hear about this. Where do you think this leaves us as far as the chances of a Henry Cavill coming back to play Superman again?
Oh man, I'm mostly hopeful just for you, John. I want you to have this so much.
I want this so bad.
I love this for you. I really do think that there's legs to this rumor, right? He's having such a great moment too. People love him as The Witcher, one of the few Netflix shows that people talk about, even when it's not currently, being dropped on there. He's in the Enola Holmes films. He was fantastic in Mission Impossible Fallout. He's rumored to be Highlander in the Highlander movie.
Yeah.
People love this guy. And a lot of that, I think, too, comes from during the pandemic, getting to see more of who he is as a person, learning that he's this massive nerd who he wants to just build a computer and he wants to talk to you about every little thing about the Witcher books, not the video games, the Polish novels. Like, he is beloved by his fans. And I think people really, really do like him in this role. Even if they weren't crazy about the film, I think everyone can agree that he is a fantastic Superman. I mean, look at him. Just look at him. That jawline, that's not a man's jaw. That's a Kryptonian's jaw.
By
I'm
the way,
here for it.
for those of you who haven't seen it, what Chris is referencing to is that Henry Cavill during the pandemic made a video of him building his own gaming PC, right? And one of the funniest things, I forget what her name is, but one of the female reporters at IGN, I remember she got on and wrote, watching Henry Cavill build his own gaming PC, spontaneously thousands of gamer girls across the country have become spontaneously pregnant. Which because watching him building his own, and he's big into
There
World
it
of War.
is.
Yeah, that's him. There he is.
It's the porn none of us knew we needed, but we super appreciate it.
He is super. He found out he got the role of Superman while he was playing World of Warcraft. He was playing World of Warcraft, and I think he was on a raid. So he tells a story that his phone started ringing. He saw it was one of his management. And he just ignored the call because he was in the middle of a raid or
He's almost
something.
missed auditions he's talked about where he's like, if I'm gaming, I'm like, I don't want to talk to you right now.
So yeah, come on, Henry. Come on, David. Come on, Zaslav. Get that thing going. You replace the axe of Zaslav with the building hammer of Zaslav and bring this thing together. I don't know. Rob, you hear about this. After reading the actual report, where does that leave you right now as far as terms of what are the real possibilities here that we could see Henry Cavill back?
Well, I have to say one of the weirdest things that has come out of Zack Snyder's Man of Steel and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, Wonder Woman's going to get 3 movies. Gal Gadot was introduced in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. She's going to wind up with 3 solo films. Aquaman now has 2 solo movies also introduced in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. There's been only 1 standalone Superman film. This is Superman. You have Henry Cavill, who, never really got his due. We both love Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel. I have 2 Superman hot toys, Henry Cavill hot toys, one from Justice League, one from Man of Steel. I'm getting a third one with the black suit.
Of course you are.
But it's just astonishing to me that there is not a trilogy of Superman movies.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would say that, one of the reasons, having worked on Superman Returns and documented that production, it's really hard to come up with a story for Superman. Because how do you come up with a big bad that he could hit or punch? You already did Zod. Yeah, I mean, you could do, the obvious would be to do Brainiac, or you can go deeper in like Mongol or something, but it's really hard to make a Superman movie. And if anyone deserves another one, Henry Cavill does. And I think that's what they need an auteur. He's probably out of it, and he'll probably not go, especially after Walking Dead. But if you look, this is going to seem weird, but if you look at the sensibility in Shawshank Redemption and in The Green Mile, those 2 movies, Frank Darabont writing and directing a Superman movie, like adapting the graphic novel Superman for All Seasons. That's
love that one.
That's what I would. It's a different kind of a story, but if you could have a Frank Darabont adapt a Superman for All Seasons and make a 4-part, spring, summer, winter, fall,
Give us some
I'm telling you,
beautiful little
it could be
Tim Sale bits.
a movie for the ages. But there's nobody that understands how to do it. It's really, really hard.
To your point here too, Rob, I can't believe I'm saying this, but they should look to the CW on one thing they are doing right.
Yep.
And the way they are handling the Clark Kent portion of Superman is beautiful on that show because he is constantly explaining how gentle he has to be, how cognizant he has to be of his own strength at every waking moment. Otherwise, he could murder everyone around him with a sneeze.
Yeah.
As we've seen elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not the same way.
Yeah, not the
but,
same way.
No, it's
but
interesting.
He has to be very, very aware of that.
Superman and Lois kind of was the promise that Superman Returns made about
Yeah,
being a
yeah.
father and how that would work. I mean, I really think that it's interesting because I look at Superman Returns and then what they did with Superman and Lois, and they've really tapped into what they were going for with Superman Returns and
Yeah.
really brought it forth. And I think it's really, really good.
Guys, the question for you is, what do you think about this? So the real report here is not as enthusiastic or optimistic as the subsequent reports of the report led us to believe initially, but I still believe that the seeds are there and this could very well happen. I certainly hope it does. Maybe you're not a fan of Henry Cavill or his Superman. Look, honestly, there are a lot of people who are not a fan of Henry Cavill's Superman. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. All things hit us all in different ways. So how do you feel about this? Would you like to see Cavill back as Superman? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. Right.
We got 2 more instances of people gifting other
Oh, thank
chat
you.
members. We got a Rosie 1993. He gifted 1 membership, and Lord Thunder gifted 5 memberships.
Oh my
Wow.
So pretty soon we're gonna
Nice.
have a full chat of members
That's a great problem to have, guys.
that could get away with everything.
First of
now.
all, just number one, the fact that you guys have become members of the channel is awesome. But those of you who are actually now gifting memberships is awesome. Thank you so much for that, guys. Being good to your fellow viewers. That's awesome of you. All right, guys, listen. Before we now go into our live questions from you guys, because we are now opening up the super chats. The super chats are now open. If you have a thought, comment, opinion, theory, question, whatever, you can go ahead and start firing those in. We'll get to those in a minute. Before we do, maybe you want to make a Superman movie. Maybe you want to tell a smaller story. The best filmmakers in the world, the best people at cooking and science and all that kind of stuff are all over at our other sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, Masterclass. Guys, we want to take just a minute and thank the sponsor of this video, Masterclass. Masterclass is offering classes on a wide variety of topics, like all taught by world-class masters at the absolute tops of their field. Each class is broken down out into individual video lessons, usually like around 10 minutes or so long, and members can explore at their own pace. And each class is supported by downloadable materials, lessons, recipes, or more that you can all find at masterclass.com. For example, are you into streaming? Well, you can take the Building Your Streaming class taught by ninjas so you can sharpen up on your streaming skills. Or if you're interested in independent filmmaking, take independent filmmaking from Academy Award winner Spike Lee. You want to get classes on how to direct? How about from Ron Howard? The very first one I personally looked up and got into was Business Leadership by the great Big Papa Iger, Bob Iger himself. And I was absolutely enthralled with it. I love every single minute of this stuff. If any of those apply to you, you need to try Masterclass. So I highly recommend that you check it out. Get unlimited access to every Masterclass. And as a John Campea Show viewer, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Campea. Once again, to get 15% off your annual membership, go to masterclass.com/Campea. Thank you again to our friends at Masterclass. We love Masterclass around here. Guys, go check it out. First thing I did when I signed up for it, I did the Bob Iger Masterclass on business leadership. Awesome. Go, whatever topic you're interested in, go check it out. Once again, all of our sponsors today and their promo codes down near the top of the description of our video. When you support our sponsors, you're supporting us. All right, guys. With that down, let's get into the live comments. Let's start off with some of the ones that our members have sent in. What do we got there, Ray?
Okay, we got one from Eric Skelton. He says, I discovered Henry Cavill as Charles Brandon in The Tudors.
Tutors. He was, that's where I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy, I watched The Tutors just because he was in it. I'm like, this guy is awesome. So he was really good in that.
And he just says he has loved nearly everything he's done ever since. And we got Joel Ralston saying, hey guys, let's say Spielberg doesn't do Fantastic Four. Could Feige pick from a variety like Zemeckis, the Coens, Soderbergh, or Alejandro Inarritu?
Like, honestly, I don't see any, all excellent directors. I don't see any of them as a good fit for a Fantastic Four, though. Like, especially Soderbergh, I love a lot of his movies, but yeah, I don't think those are good choices personally. Not for something like this. Anyway, it's good that you're thinking outside of the box, though. I like that. All right, let's get over to the super chats people are sending in. What do we got in there, Chris?
We've got some support from Florian and Xavier. So
Thank you guys so much just for sending in support. Appreciate that.
From Alex Mata. Hey, John, as much as we hate the AMC ad, Regal is kind of one-upping them. Recently, they played 3 Regal ads after trailers and even oddly a Hotels.com ad in between trailers.
The big question becomes, what is when does the movie start? So like if you're Regal and you're playing all those ads, if you're still starting the movie a little bit earlier than AMC does, then I'm on that. Listen, I've gone to, it's been a long time since I've been to a Regal theater, but I've had the opportunity to go a couple of times recently. Ann and I went to go see the special event for the Fantastic Beasts 3 movie. I'm really liking what they're doing at Regal, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, I haven't had the Regal ads in mind. I haven't been to the movies in a minute, though, so I love it. I love the Regal.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
From Andy, one of two. The Batman 2 should have been Bruce delivering his emo monologue, and as he comes out from the shadows, Cult of Personality by Living Colour, CM Punk's theme song, plays. Then as Batman is beating down on a fool, you hear Jim Ross from the background yelling, "Good God Almighty, he's killing him!"
Somebody stop him. Well, first of all, like one of the things I miss most about wrestling, the voice of good old JR, Jim Ross, JR, like he's such a quintessential part. And for those of you who didn't watch wrestling, I mean, this is going completely over your head. But yeah, there was so many great Jim Ross. When he left for a while, it's like wrestling just doesn't feel the same to me anymore without the voice of Jim Ross. All right, what's next?
From Corey, you can make another baby. I need some popcorn. Wow, John, just wow.
You can make another baby. I need to see Top Gun. That's right. Damn right. Go, you make another kid. Come on. Popcorn over baby formula. That's right. Start that hashtag.
Making
Hashtag
a kid
popcorn
is way
over
more fun
formula.
than making popcorn.
I obviously don't have
Depends
any
who
kids.
you're with.
Ah, fair.
All right, what's next?
Lucky BX. Hi, crew. The only thing I want from the Kenobi series is Obi-Wan asking Vader to come with him. That would justify Vader's line to Luke in Jedi.
When he says Obi-Wan once thought as you did, maybe I thought that was something that was fulfilled at the beginning of their confrontation on Mustafar in Revenge of the Jedi. I mean, like he still thought, look, come back from this. You're lost. You're going crazy. So I think that line has already been fulfilled. I don't see Obi-Wan thinking Vader can be saved at this point. Because remember, when we see Obi-Wan in Star Wars, he doesn't believe Obi-Wan's redeemable. Yoda doesn't believe is redeemable. So that's all gone. So I think we already had that base covered. What do you think?
I agree with that. I mean, especially after what Kenobi has seen so far in the series.
Just in this series.
I mean, just walking down the street, the way he's just killing innocent people. And he
Children.
knows, and children. And of course he knows that he killed younglings. I mean,
Yeah, it's there. All right, what's next?
From Kara Black, if another Superman film with Henry is planned, I would rather see someone else be Lois than Amy Adams. She has no chemistry with Cavill and just isn't a fit as Lois Lane with his Superman Clark Kent.
Amy Adams is one of the greatest actresses on the planet. But I concede that I've never felt that magic between the two of them as we did, say, between Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder.
Ugh.
Or as we do between Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow. That magic isn't there. I don't think you recast it at this point. She's well established as our Lois. She is one of the greatest actresses in the world. But I wouldn't lose any sleep. Again, this is no knock on her. It's just that together, their chemistry, I don't think there's that magic. So I think you're right. I wouldn't lose any sleep if they didn't. By the way, another one of our members, Dr. Nova, also just gifted.
Second time. So he's gifted 10 memberships today.
He's gifted 10
Whoa,
memberships out to
Nova.
people, man. Thank you, Dr. Nova.
what
That's
a cool thing to do.
That is a really cool thing to do. Thank you for that, Dr. Nova. All right, what's next?
From Suthius, here's a quick, lovely poem. Roses are red, violets are blue. If you ever find yourself in someone's tunnel, then you better not say achoo.
Yeah, we won't. We cannot say what that is to because we don't want to spoil anything.
I have a feeling I know.
But oh my God,
I got to give that up. Suthius, that was pretty good.
That's some gorgeous
Pretty good.
poetry there. That's
Like
some
that
gorgeous
poetry.
poetry. I would be romanced by that. All right, what's next?
From Santiago, will Zaslav be the industry's next big Papa Iger?
Hey, listen, we are only at the start of that. Look, I love every movie he's making so far.
Yeah.
He could make 20 bad ones, though, in the next couple of months. All I'll say is I think he's off to a great start. All right, what's next?
Wow.
From Film Code Podcast, if Spielberg gets hired to direct Fantastic Four, I'm going to have to borrow a phrase from Rob. Dude.
Dude.
Bruh.
My God. I mean, obviously, I would prefer Spielberg direct a Star Wars movie. That has been a movie wet dream of mine for my entire lifetime to see that. But if he's not going to do a Star Wars movie, a Fantastic Four would be so
Well,
good.
Kevin Feige's supposed to produce one. Maybe he can sign Spielberg to a 2-picture deal.
Oh my God. If Spielberg did Fantastic Four and said, by the way, I'm also going to direct the Kevin Feige produced Star Wars movie, that's like the best of everything. That's like the world is a beautiful place again.
And you know what? We live in a time where anything can happen.
Anything can happen. All right, what's next?
Surprise day every day.
From Jin the Jedi, Fantastic Four top director picks, if not John Krasinski. 1, Joseph Kosinski.
Krasinski, yeah, that's not bad.
Maverick Oblivion. 2, Alex Garland. Ex
No, I don't
Machina.
think Garland is. I love Garland. I don't think
And he's talking about he doesn't want to direct anymore.
Is he?
Oh.
Yeah, he just wants to write.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't see that as an interesting fit at all. But I mean, hey, listen, if you got a good storyteller, you got a good storyteller.
Hey,
All right.
John, I just want to mention Nicholas Clark just gifted 5 members.
Oh,
with a
thank you.
membership.
Man, look at our members stepping up
40
and
new
like
members today.
Well, yeah,
giving
so
stuff out to everybody else in life. That is so generous of you guys.
A
Thank
bunch
you.
of sweeties.
I also got 3 member chats. Should I wait?
Yeah, quickly.
Okay,
What do we
okay.
got?
So Isaiah Ruiz says, "Hey John, I was watching that 70s show last night and saw that 90s show set photos of Red and Kitty and the old basement."
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I never liked that 70s show. I tried watching some of it, never worked for me. So I also heard that not Cheech Marin, Tommy Chong is coming back as well for it, from what I heard. But yeah, I'm not interested that much in it.
Also, I like this next message. That's by Seaham. He says, "Still need that Thundercats movie," which
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that is one that has a lot of potential. They've been trying to get one made for 15 years now. It's cracking that code. It's not easy.
And last one from Wayne Edwards. He says, "Happy Friday, crew. I would love to see Henry Cavill back as Superman. Man of Steel is an underrated masterpiece. Doesn't Cavill and Christopher McQuarrie have a Superman script ready to go?"
I don't think so. By the way, I'm not interested in actors doing scripts. I'm
Right.
really not. But I will say this. One of the things we always should point out, because this does have bearing on this. Don't forget that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Henry Cavill have the same manager. And Dwayne Johnson would love to have Black Adam fighting Superman. And Dwayne Johnson and Henry Cavill are buddies. That doesn't automatically mean anything. I'm just saying.
But that's somebody you could punch.
That's somebody that they could
And you
punch
know
each
what?
other.
Chris McQuarrie already directed Cavill in Mission Impossible Fallout. And if it wasn't Spielberg, Chris McQuarrie would write and direct a Superman movie.
Because if you're a producer, you got to think, who can we get to direct Henry Cavill to properly direct him on how to cock his guns, how to cock his arm guns?
Oh, when he reloads them?
Yeah, to reload the guns. Who else
The
can do
best.
that? Christopher McQuarrie can. All right, what's next?
From Dominic, too soon for Joss Whedon to direct Fantastic Four?
I am a big Joss Whedon fan as far as his work goes. Serenity is one of the best sci-fi movies I've seen in the last 20-something years. I love that. Obviously, Firefly. I think Avengers is the greatest comic book movie ever made. As a big Joss Whedon fan, I've been very disturbed by a number of the things that we've seen come out, including Sarah Michelle Gellar, who never says anything.
Yeah.
And so, look, I am not saying cancel anybody, not at all. I'm just saying it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. And I say this as a big Joss Whedon fan, but the idea makes me a bit uncomfortable. All right, what's next?
From Jay Bling, Rob, is Elizabeth at least a Basic Instinct fan?
When I tell her to be, she is.
Wow.
No, I mean, to be honest, I do have a quarter scale Catherine Trammell statue in the
Can I just say that is
Observatory.
one of the dumbest things you've ever said?
Well, no.
I don't want to be at your house when you go home.
No. Elizabeth, I don't think that Elizabeth and I do. In all honesty, we do share a certain taste in film. We bond on Amelie. If you're
Amelie's wonderful,
if you're
yeah.
talking about a movie that's literally the movie that got us to meet, because we met online and in our profiles, that's where it came together. So no, I was being glib about. I don't know how Elizabeth feels about erotic thrillers from the 80s and 90s, but I do know that the movie that got us together was Jean-Pierre Genet's Amélie.
All right, what's next?
From Andy, a big name director Kevin Feige should get to direct Fantastic Four is Paul Feig. After all, he's won a Kids' Choice Award and is aiming for a second one.
Hey, listen, laugh all you want, though. Paul Feig has directed some killer movies, like some really good movies. We were just talking about one. They just announced they're doing a sequel to A Simple Favor, which A Simple Favor, like Superman, Man of Steel is the most underrated comic book film of all time. A Simple Favor might be the most underrated movie of the past 4 years. That movie is brilliant. He also did that one that with Melissa McCarthy, was a Spy. Did he do that
I
one?
love Spy, yeah.
With Jason. I thought that looked like trash. It is a
so
delightful
fun.
movie. I mean, you laugh all you want, because that comment about we want a Kid's Choice, that was one of the dumbest things ever said in the industry. But still, he has made some killer films. All right, what's next?
From Federico, hi, John and crew. I remember watching Star Wars for the first time with my brother as a kid. Now I'm watching Obi-Wan with him and his son. Full circle.
Yeah, that is one of the great things when you get these generational IPs. that like my mom introduced me to Star Wars, and now when I go home, I get to take my mom to whatever the new Star Wars movie is. Like that's just one of my favorite things in the world. That's awesome that you guys have that. All right, what's next?
From Film Code Podcast, another director who I think would be great for Fantastic Four is Catherine Bigelow.
Yes. Yes to this. Are you kidding me? The
It'll be
director of
different.
Point Break, the director of what's the Jeremy Renner?
Hurt Locker.
Foot Locker.
Hurt
Locker. The
Yeah,
director
Hurt
of
Locker.
Come get your shoes.
Near
Hurt-
Dark. Near Dark, one of my
The
favorite
director of
vampire
Detroit?
movies ever.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Strange Days.
Still prefer Steven Spielberg, but I would be very happy with that name as well. All right, what's next?
Orlando, thoughts on dine-in movie theaters?
They're awesome.
Love
The
'em.
first time I went to a dine-in movie theater, I thought, well, this is going to be distracting with waiters coming in and out. You know what? It was not an issue. Wasn't an issue at all. If you get a chance to go to a really good dine-in theater, by all means go. It's really fun because that takes the dinner part out of it too. And it's great. You just hit a button, they bring you more popcorn or bring you your next burger. It's awesome. I love them. All right, what's next?
From Kevin, Boys Episode 1 reaction in real time. Oh, wow, they're going there. Oh, my fucking God, what is that? What the blazes am I watching? Huge. Happy Pride, all.
Listen again. The Boys is simply one of the greatest things on TV. Like it's so great. The fact that I get to go home and watch another episode 2 of Stranger Things season 4 and watch The Boys. This is a good time to be a TV fan, man. Totally good time. All right, what's next?
Santiago, will best movie, worst movie ever return?
It's funny that it's scheduled. We've scheduled when we are shooting our next episodes. We're going to do an 8-episode season 3 of best movie, worst movie, where we just finished coordinating our schedules with Cody Miller, of course, Olympic gold medalist, who does the show with us. So yes, it is coming back in the next couple of weeks. All right, what's next?
From Stubble McShave, with Netflix ceasing to be a ceasing
Cesspool.
to be a
Probably
cesspool.
meant to say ceasing.
Yeah, to be a cesspool of celluloid. I meant, do you think their new approach to movies will result in movies that are not shite?
Oh, that's what he meant yesterday.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So, yeah, listen. Netflix has said we have 3 words for our movie division: bigger, better, fewer. That is the right approach. You stop focusing on putting out 30 original films a month and say you focus on 12. Just by nature of the fact that you are concentrating your efforts and resources and creativity more into fewer projects, you're going to see the overall quality level probably go up. So yes, I think there is a chance that we're going to see the quality level of Netflix originals go up from now on. All right, what's next?
From Mike, thoughts on the new Beavis and Butthead trailer?
Never saw it, was never a Beavis and Butthead guy.
Yeah, occasionally I would be.
Did you see the new trailer?
I didn't know there was a new
Yeah,
trailer.
there was a
Me
new
neither.
trailer, kid. But yeah, sorry, haven't seen it yet. All right, what's next?
From Harv's K, RRR is awesome. Think Steve Rogers and T'Challa as best friends, but on opposing sides. The action is Snyder-esque, but actually fun. And you get an amazing musical dance-off.
Well, okay, now you sold me. Listen, I am going to do RRR, and I am going to do a review of it. It's probably next week I'm going to do this. Yep, you guys got me. You guys got me. So many of you told me about it. I'm going to get on that now.
I can't wait to hear what you think.
Because you have seen it.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Sam, started watching The Orville. Really liked the way they handled the gender reassignment surgery, baby story, but the comedy doesn't really work for me.
I mean, you started watching The Orville, the show, not just season 3. Yeah. And wait till you get to season 3. Like for me, The Orville has always been hit and miss, right? The episodes I really like, episodes I could do without. Season 3 is off to a really interesting start. It is a totally new show. I mean, it is a different show now. So, hey, but when their comedy's been good, I've really liked it. All right, what's next?
From Dr. J, sending in a $21
Wow,
super chat.
thank you, Dr. J.
The Boys' reaction, the acts of Zaslav, Spielberg in the MCU, Arachnophobia, Henry Cavill's Kryptonian jawline, and Ray Ora's Cinema Diet. What a show. At on the Filthy at 4 p.m.
Well, thank you for that. Today has been a fun show.
Yeah.
I
been
love
good.
days like this when you just look down, at your, like as I write the show and I'm looking down all this stuff, I'm like, man, every one of these is I'm looking forward to talking about. This is going to be fun. All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher, I loved the most recent episode of Strange New Worlds. So funny, got my dad laughing, and he isn't a laugher. I'm amazed they got the green uniform in there.
I still haven't seen the newest episode of Strange New Worlds, but I did overhear you, I think, saying to Ray
You're
yesterday
not supposed to say this publicly.
that you
Well,
you
okay.
actually kind of liked the new episode of Strange New Worlds.
against my better judgment. You know, like I go in and I always say that I'm not a hater. I'm a congratulator by nature. But I have, come on, don't,
Yeah, when the world collectively giggles.
no, but I will say,
Trying to keep
I have to give credit where credit is due. Against my better judgment, this was definitely a comedic episode. There's an element which I never thought they would do that harks back to the very last episode of the original series, which is called Turnabout Intruder, where Kirk and Dr. Janice Lester switch essences. So Kirk is in the body of a woman, and a woman is the body of
A little
James
Freaky
Kirk.
Friday going on.
Little Freaky Friday, but this was in 1969. I never thought. All I'm going to say is I chuckled.
Well-
and I did appreciate that. I thought it looked a little awkward on him, but to see the green wraparound tunic, they got me.
It's high praise.
I enjoyed this episode of Strange New Worlds,
Oh, dang.
but don't tell anyone. Anyone that's watching this show, don't write it anywhere. Don't tweet it that Rob Burnett said he liked.
All right, we got to move on here. We're running out of time. What's next?
From Thomas BDL. Hey, John and team. 1 week to go before the return of one of the best sci-fi dramas of the decade, For All Mankind.
Oh, my
Did you watch the trailer for season 3?
What did you call it earlier?
Oh, I said for All Mankind. No, it's From the Earth to the Moon.
From
I said
Earth to the Moon. So
Yeah.
we were talking during one of the breaks, and Rob said, "Oh, From Earth to the Moon comes back." I'm like, "I'm not familiar with that. What's that about?" And he describes it. I'm like, "That sounds like a ripoff of For All Mankind." He goes, "Oh, wait a minute, no, that's For All Mankind." For All Mankind. Listen, Ray is the one who got me into For All Mankind because he was working at my house and he always would have it on. So I
Yeah.
started watching it. I'm like, then I couldn't stop watching it. It's a really great show.
The season 2 cliffhanger is one of the greatest hours of TV I've ever seen, and the final shot in that episode almost made me cry.
All right, what's next?
From Ryder. The C in Morbius stands for cinema.
That's right. The C in Morbius.
There's a C in there?
No.
Oh.
C in Morbius is for cinema. I
Why
love
am I
that.
here?
All right, what's next?
From Jay Bling. The Netflix online shop is selling fake versions of Chris Evans' trash stash in The Gray Man to promote the movie. Do you think you'll get one?
Wait, is that true?
If this is true, I may not go out of my way to get one, but if somebody gifted me one, I wouldn't be unhappy. I wouldn't
That's
mind
hilarious.
that. I am looking forward to that. Not often you hear me say that about
Yeah.
Netflix original, but I'm looking forward to seeing this.
They're going to put it in the theaters, aren't they? I think it's going to be in
I
theaters.
know they were talking about doing it with a couple of them. Maybe that's one of them.
because it's their most expensive movie ever.
Yeah, $200 million they spent on it. Dear
I've
heavens.
got a real dirty joke and I'm using my filter. Keep it in there.
Darn it.
Okay.
All right,
From
what's
Mark.
next?
Seeing Jurassic World Dominion in less than 2 hours in the Netherlands. Currently sitting at an 86% critics, mainly Spanish, rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Let the dinosaurs eating people fest begin.
I am seeing it in 72 hours. I'm going to go see it on Monday. Universal invited me down to go watch it, and I'm very excited to watch. Can't wait to share my thoughts. Kind of jealous that you're going to go see it right away. Good for you. You know what? North America always gets the movies first. I like hearing it when some of the bigger movie comes out and our international film loving brethren get to go
I
see
agree.
it before us. I think that's great. But I am kind of jealous, and I maybe hate you a little bit. All right, what's next?
From Andy, I want a girlfriend like Betty from Riverdale. Not only is she hot, but she'll also let you smash her best friend while she sits by and watches you both. And that's
Riverdale,
love.
everybody.
I gotta watch
And
Riverdale.
that's true love.
That's real.
You know
friendship.
she's wife material when she's like, go have sex with my friend.
I want to watch.
She's not able to have a lot of sex. She's kind of hurting for some.
Archie,
So
you're such a good guy. Just give her a little vitamin D.
Oh,
Hmm.
wow. Way to keep it classy, Chris. Just all right, while you guys are laughing, I got another member chat from Abraham Ruiz. He said they showed off the new hot toy for Dead Zombie Strange, and boy,
Oh, nice.
does it look amazing.
Dude,
I bet that would look incredible.
dude.
I bet
it's
that would look great.
Amazing.
Give her some vitamin D. All right. I'm not going to live that one down. What's next?
From Rocket Sized. Hey guys, happy Friday. Curious if you guys have seen Love, Death, and Robots and Netflix.
I was never interested in it, but you
It's
watched
good,
Monkey,
and
yeah.
I've
Season
watched
1.
some of the episodes of season 3.
Okay.
It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, have you watched it, Chris?
I watched season 1, and I think the one that was Emmy nominated shouldn't have been the particular episode.
Yeah.
But most of what I saw in season 1, I enjoyed. I just never watched the rest of it.
It's good.
All right, what's next?
You like it.
253 Sir 3. Rob, as a Cronenberg fan, I'm also looking forward to seeing Crimes of the Future. However, it hasn't gotten a UK release date yet. I'm jealous.
Well, it is opening today, and I will be in the theater later.
Now, is it unfair for me to say that I do not expect this to make a lot of money?
No, it's not going to make a lot of money. But you know what? Tomorrow at the Burbank 16, Viggo Mortensen and Scott Speedman are speaking.
Yeah, doing a Q&A with it.
doing a
Yeah,
Q&A.
that's exciting for it. All right, what's next?
From Michael, caught Date Trek the motion picture in theaters. Like Star Trek the motion picture, there we
Yeah.
go, in theaters. Liked the updates, but the wormhole scene was still cringy.
I haven't seen it, so Rob, you have.
Well, yeah. So no, it's interesting that what you're talking about. There's a scene with the warp engines imbalance, and the Enterprise is sucked into a wormhole.
Right.
That sequence was done by the first effects company, Robert Abel and Associates, and they were later fired off the film. But that is the last remnant. It is a little cringy. It's very 70s. It's not great. But there was really nothing they could do with that sequence to update it because that was a finished sequence. There's nothing they could have done.
All right, what's next?
From Michael Bradley. Oh, no, that's the one I just did. J Master. Disney Plus announced yesterday Percy Jackson and the Olympian series has begun production. What do you think the production budget will be?
Oh, who knows? It's definitely not feature film production budget. But the main thing is, can they tell a really good story? Look, I know a lot of Percy Jackson fans didn't appreciate the movies. I unashamedly quite liked the first Percy
I did
Jackson
too.
that they did with Logan Lerman.
Yeah.
And the lead girl, she was in True Detective. She was in
Alexander
Daddario.
Yeah,
Yes.
there we go.
Alexander
yeah,
Daddario.
yeah, yeah.
So with Alexander Daddario, I actually really liked it. I wasn't big on the second one, admittedly, but hey, they're getting another shot at it, so great. All right, what's next?
The Werebear. What are your guys' thoughts on the whole Halo show now that it's done?
I'll tell you what.
Did you finish it?
I did. I liked it.
I liked it too.
I mean, there are things about it I didn't like.
There are
And remember,
crap-
I'm not a Halo guy. I'm not a big Halo guy, right? So I just sat down. I wasn't going, they got to do this and they got to
Yeah.
do this and they got to do this. I just sat down and said, okay, clean slate. Let's just watch this show. I liked it. I had
That
fun watching it.
cliffhanger. What'd you think of the cliffhanger at the end?
I
It's
thought it
interesting.
was
It's
pretty-
an interesting setup, right?
Yeah, it was interesting. I especially like the fact that in the cliffhanger, they don't answer the question.
Oh yeah.
You know, because she turns to her and goes, Chief, you there? And just no answer.
Yeah,
And that's where the show
that's the chief that a lot of us know, though.
that
The one that's very stoic and no feelings.
I
right
like
there.
the show. I'm going to look forward to season 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, no offense to any of the game puritans. Oh, they didn't do that. I mean, whatever. I didn't play the game, so I don't give a shit. I just watched the show for what it was, and I thought it was pretty good.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
From Sam. I still want Brad Bird to direct Fantastic Four only because Incredibles is literally the best litmus test possible for Fantastic Four.
I mean,
Also,
The
Brad Bird
Incredibles
a
is
big name.
basically the Fantastic
It
Four.
is.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
people have said Brad Bird for a long time. And you know what? If they announce Brad Bird next week doing it, I don't think any of us would be unhappy.
Nope.
That wouldn't be bad either. All right, what's next?
From Stubble McShave. Will we see Val in more movies after Top Gun Maverick and Willow?
No. I mean, just the reality. I mean, look, even for Top Gun Maverick, they had to digitally, artificially do the voice. So I don't expect to. I mean, it would be great if they find ways that with his current condition, he can still do it and he would fit in there. That would be awesome. I love Val Kilmer. I've loved him ever since Top Secret.
Yep.
But I
came
wouldn't.
out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect so. I wouldn't expect so. All right, what's next?
The Jay Schrey Way. Have you seen any set pics from Oppenheimer?
Oh, I know they put out a couple photos like a while ago, like months ago, but I haven't seen anything recently.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But
other than Cillian
that's the new
Murphy as
Christopher
Oppenheimer.
Nolan film for people wondering about it, with one of the most insanely stacked casts.
And I just can't wait till they come out that he finally got clearance from the United States to actually detonate an atomic bomb.
By the way, that is not true. Just in case anybody took that seriously. All right, what's next?
From Jerome. In your opinion, who will be the best TV villain this year between Darth Vader, Homelander, or Vecna?
I'll tell you what, like Darth Vader is the greatest cinematic villain of all time. So now we are talking specifically about a villain in this one show. We're not talking about the legacy of Darth Vader, right? It's hard to top Homelander. It's real hard to top Homelander. And again, I said this earlier, there's that little bit of magic pixie dust in it that they somehow find a way with all the horrific, terrible, awful, nightmare-inducing things that Homelander does. To every once in a while, we also feel empathy for him. And it is such a multi-dimensional character with so many different levels and layers. Vecna is not that. Vecna is not, as cool of a villain is. I'm loving Stranger Things before. Vecna is not. Vecna is right now is a very one note, very cool, but very one note, one level kind of villain we see. But Homelander, it's hard to top that dude. It is hard.
You know, we talked about how in the show early on in today's show, where they go and what they do and how they play with modern political ideology. The idea of consent and the end of the last episode of season 3 of The Boys,
which I have not seen yet.
I know, I'm not going to say it, but I was made so angry by the end of that episode in terms of I like to the point where I was so mad, and it cuts to there's an insert shot that made me even more mad, and I'm just like, and I my blood was literally boiling, and that's one of the reasons I love the show.
All right, what's next?
From Film Code Podcast. Hey, John, if Cavill is your Superman, who's your definitive Batman, Spider-Man, and Bond?
My favorite Bond is Daniel Craig. I think he's the perfect amalgamation of the suaveness of the Roger Moore Bond and the badassness of the Sean Connery Bond. Ben Affleck for me is my definitive Batman. I love Robert Pattinson's Batman, but just something about Ben Affleck's Batman. I don't think I have a definitive one. I mean, Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man, but each of the three brings something so great to the character. I love all three, so I wouldn't say I have a definitive one. All right, what's next?
From Javier. Hey, John, I was wondering if you were all caught up with your Superman and Lois season 2. If so, what are your thoughts on it so far?
I ditched on Superman and Lois around episode 12, I think it was, of season 1. I really enjoyed it up to that point. And then something happened in the show that just disconnected my mind from it. It wasn't a conscious choice. It's just like, it took me out of the show, and I just never watched it again. So I have not watched season 2, unfortunately. All right, what's next?
From Santiago, is John Krasinski considered a big-time director?
I would say he is with the massive success he's had with A Quiet Place, not just box office wise and profit ratio, but also critically. I thought it was the best movie of the year in 2018. So I would consider him a big-time director. All right, what's next?
From Al Renshaw, at AMC recently, and they were sold out of popcorn.
Yep, and apparently you can expect to see that happen now. That's going to happen sometimes because of the supply chain shortages, and it's weird to think about, but it's going to be a reality. All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher, how did Spielberg and Williams become so close? Were they roommates in college? Did they meet through George?
I mean, look, they worked with each other for decades and decades and decades. And listen, when you're working on a movie together, you are in bed together. I mean, like when you work on, I've only made a couple of movies, but when I was in the process of making like my first movie, The Anniversary, I became that's how me and Aaron were already friends, like we were acquaintances, but it was when Aaron was in my movie and we had to work really closely together. And when you're directing a sex scene with somebody, you kind of bond a little bit, but that's where we became really close. Me and Soul, and when you work in that environment, you're going into battle together, and you kind of become tight. And so you're talking about a guy who worked with him over years and years and years and years on movie after movie after movie after movie.
47 years ago, Jaws came out, and that was the first time they worked together,
right? I
believe. And John Williams had come out of television, and Spielberg started in television. I don't know if George Lucas introduced them, but Jaws came out 3 or 2 years before Star Wars did. So if anything, maybe Spielberg introduced George Lucas to John Williams.
Actually, I think he did. I believe Steven Spielberg introduced John Williams to George Lucas.
And remember, in 1977, George Lucas had Star Wars and Spielberg had Close Encounters, and they were both scored by John Williams.
Yep.
Same year.
He's that's why they call him the maestro of the movies. All right, what's next?
From Yellow CT, the Rona caught up with me. Thank you for helping keep my spirits up this week. Aw.
Hang in there, man. Hopefully you're vaccinated. If so, you'll probably sail right through it. But just rest up, take care of yourself, and we're glad we're here to help keep you entertained during that, man. All right, what's next?
From Jamie Sundays, anyone catch the latest The Offer episode?
Yep.
Rob did. I did not yet, so I'm one episode behind. I'm going to try to catch up on that tonight.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, good.
It's a good one.
Because where episode 7 leaves off, I cannot wait. All right, what's next?
From Dr. Nova, did Warner Brothers save the theatrical experience not so much by putting out the fire, but by setting their house on fire so other people wouldn't?
I don't know. Like, seriously, when we look back at one of the most idiotic decisions ever made by a studio head ever, by Jason Kilar deciding to go take all their 2021 movies and put them straight to streaming, which cost them hundreds of millions of dollars, ruined decades-long relationships, and set them back an awful lot. It's gonna be looked at as one of the stupidest things ever. But would somebody doing something that dumb, like the first kid to stick their tongue in the electrical outlet, yeah, that was horrible, but then everybody else learned, don't do that. So I don't know, maybe Jason Kilar did one of the great object lessons for everybody. Jason Kilar was the guy who stuck his tongue in the electrical outlet. There you go. All right, what's next?
From Fredo.
Fredo!
Keep rocking on, cool people.
Oh, thank you,
Fredo.
Fredo. Appreciate that. It's always great when people want to just tip in just to say something encouraging. Thank you, man. We appreciate that, Fredo. What's
I knew
next?
it was you.
We knew it was you, Fredo, and you broke my heart.
From Anonymous by Nature. Dudes, I paid $45 for 2 regular popcorns, 2 regular sodas, and 2 small bags of candy at Doctor Strange 2 here in Winnipeg. I'm with Ray on giving them cash to Chipotle next time.
I mean, look, it is when you first of all, that is a lot that you got. But yeah, listen, the price tag of concession stuff, you know what their most reasonably priced is actually the candy. The candy is the most reasonably priced things because their profit margin on soda and popcorn is astronomical.
Yeah.
But it is how they keep the lights on. Like the money you pay for your ticket, the majority of that goes back to the studios. They don't get to keep much of that. The way they keep their lights on and the way they're able to pay their staff and to create these temples of movie going with the great new screens and the great new seats and the gorgeous foyers and just creating that experience. It doesn't get paid by the cost of the movie ticket. It gets paid by the cost of the popcorn. And so, yeah, I agree. It's expensive, but it's what gives us the experience. And so I've always been tolerant. I'm not going to say okay with it, but always been tolerant of it.
By the way, I just want to give a shout out to our viewer in Winnipeg. Tomorrow is also the 23rd anniversary of my film Free Enterprise, and we sold it in Winnipeg.
I remember you telling me about that.
We went to
Sorry.
Winnipeg to a film festival, and based on that film festival, we sold it. I never thought I would say this, but Winnipeg, right there, buddy.
All right, what's next?
From Andrew Rice. Hey, John, used to watch you back in Movie Talk days.
Wow.
And then I found your show when you went solo and haven't missed a show. Schnepp was great.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I have had the privilege and pleasure of working with some great people, some not so great people, but some truly great people. And, you know, John Schnepp was larger than life. He was the king of the sweaties. He represented the best of us. You know, those, you, me, like those of us who were in the geek community, whatever, he was the best of us. And being able to work with, I mean, obviously guys like Mark Ellis, Christian Harloff, Amy Rose Eisenbach, you know, people like that. But yeah, Schnepp was the best of us. All right.
Dude, you know, it's funny. I think I texted you something after watching The Boys.
Yes.
I said something about the flavor. What did I don't remember. Something.
I can't remember
yeah,
the
I said
exact-
something, and it was and Schnepp again, because I think about him so much. After watching those 3 episodes of The Boys, I wish I could have talked to him.
Oh my God, you would have loved it.
He would
You would have
loved
loved
it.
him so much.
You would have loved it.
All right, what's next?
From Rafael Castillo. Every day I wake up, then I want to bake up lonely as a man without buds.
You know, for all those smokers out there.
Awake and bake.
Yeah.
Awake
that,
and
went
bake.
over, that went over my head there for a second. Okay. All right, what's next?
From Logan Landis. With that down, John, Rob, Chris, Ray, and Jonathan, thank you all for putting out so much content. I don't know how you do it, and always putting a smile on my face, even through the hard times.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that, man. I appreciate that. And listen, it is our, I say every day, it is our honor and privilege, as it is every day, to get together with you guys and talk about these things that we love. Listen, there's a lot of places that you can go and talk about things you hate or hear about things that are more depressing or whatever, but I love talking about the movies. I love talking about storytelling. I love talking about the great stuff on streaming we're saying. And the fact that we all get to do it together every day It is our honor to do it. So thank you so much for being here and making it possible for us to do it and being part of our community and being a part of what makes it so great to do it. So thanks for that, man. All right, what's next?
From Zelda Master 702, with the acts of Zaslav and the court ruling, any changes to Aquaman 2?
Look, like I said in the video the other day, I think Amber Heard's career is done. I think it's done. But with the movie being done, Aquaman 2's done. I mean, it will be a very, here's the one thing about David Zaslav. He is fiscally responsible. Some people will call that cheap, but he is not cheap. He is fiscally responsible. And I think if you go to David Zaslav now and say to him, hey, we want to cut Amber out of the movie, he's going to tell me, you tell me why I need to pay $10 million to take something out of a movie we've already paid tens of millions of dollars to put into a movie. You explain that to me. And I don't know that he's going to make that change.
Plus, I mean, I hate to say this, but what does the Amber Heard Johnny Depp lawsuit have to do with her performance in Aquaman 2?
Yeah.
I mean, so something happened outside. She didn't do anything wrong with the studio. She showed up and did the job she was contractually obligated to do. She probably delivered a good performance. So, I mean, maybe there's bad press there, but they also have a contract with her.
Well, that doesn't mean they can't. That contracts just mean they got to pay her.
Well, sure, but I mean, like you said, but I mean, to speak to your point, it would probably cost $10 million. You'd have to hire a new actress, reshoot everything that she's in. I don't know how much that's going to cost, but it would be I think it'd be a lot more than $10 million.
Yeah. Hey, Ray.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
you
Look,
do.
you raised your hand. All right, what's next?
From Orlando Orrego, I feel streaming are starting to go with quality and not quantity. Hopefully Peacock starts to do that too.
Hey, listen, Peacock has done some good stuff. And as much as it grates me to even say the name of the service, because that's the dumbest name ever. But they honestly are doing some really good things on Peacock. I mean, when I first really noticed that was the one they did with Isla Fisher and Josh Gad.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Wolf Like Me? Or?
Wolf
Yeah,
Like Me or
yeah.
something like that. I thought that looked strange, and I watch it, and I binged the whole thing. Like,
It was good. I watched it too.
They're doing some pretty nice. They've got a really nice balance because they're NBC. They've got great catalog content. Like, I want to watch Parks and Rec, which I am obsessed with Parks and Rec. I go to Peacock. I want to watch Blacklist. I go to Peacock. I want to watch The Office. I can go to Peacock. I mean, so some of the original stuff they're doing and their catalog, very, very good service. All right, what's next?
From Al Renshaw, how would you feel if Mace Windu had a Luke Skywalker-esque appearance in Obi-Wan Season 2 finale, or if he appears in rumored Season 2?
It's that you can't answer that. It all depends on what's the context. See, if you would ask me, do you want a Luke cameo in Mandalorian? No. Do you want a Luke cameo if they have a story set up where they're told that Baby Yoda, if he does this one thing, it will gain the attention of a Jedi in the universe, and it builds up to this one kind of thing where a Jedi needs to show up and save the day and blah, blah, blah. Oh, then yeah, Luke showing up in that. That's great. Do I just randomly want Luke Skywalker to show up for no reason? No. So do I just want a Mace Windu to pop up? Well, I don't know how I would feel about it unless I know what is the context and the story purpose. I don't like pointless cameos. I don't like them. If they fit with the story and help propel the story, great. So if we see a storyline developing that a Mace Windu appearance makes sense, then sure, why not? Then that could be good. All right, what's next?
From Cyan 10101, I love being a member. Getting videos early and access to town hall meetings is well worth it to me. I'm only a member to one channel, and it's yours.
Thank you so much for that, Cyan. And seriously, big thank you to all of you guys who are members of the channel. Our town halls are always fun for us. The fact that you guys use such creative uses of the exclusive emojis and stuff like that as well. It's really cool. So thank you all of you guys who have become channel members. We appreciate it. And by the way, if you guys have ideas that we can even make the membership experience for you guys even better, don't hesitate to let us know, because Ray is always listening. All right, what's next?
From Brady Fisher, Adam Sandler's new Netflix film Hustle is sitting at a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that one with LeBron James too, right?
Yeah, the basketball.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah,
I mean,
I saw the trailer for it. Looked pretty
looked good.
interesting. All right, what's next?
From Dante Srecchia, hello thereafter attendant. I'll take one ticket to Morbius and your finest bucket of lifeblood, please.
Yeah, blue blood. Give us that bucket of blue blood. It was blue, right? Not
Yeah,
green? Yeah,
it's
the blue
blue.
blood. I'm not kidding. I think I'm going to try to, Anne's under the weather right now, so Anne and I aren't going to be doing anything this weekend. So
true.
I think at some point I might sneak out over to the old AMC and watch me some Morbius.
Dude, that's shameful. That's shameful. Don't do that.
All right, what's next? You can't shame me out of this, Rob.
From Super Crazy Movie Geek. Back to the Future reboot. Interested?
Yes. Yeah.
No,
Absolutely.
no, never.
100%.
Perfect movie. Don't reboot it.
What? So how does a reboot hurt it? Research and stats have already shown that when a movie gets rebooted, it creates a renewed interest in the original.
It's true.
So tell me how a reboot would ruin the original. What does the original have to do with it?
Because somebody could be making another original movie and they're rebooting Back to the Future.
That's a non-starter because there are more movies being made today than ever before. It's not like if they don't do a reboot of this, they're going to create some masterpiece.
No.
So tell me again, how would a reboot hurt the original when it would only
Hey,
draw
wait,
more
hungry,
attention
guys.
to it?
It wouldn't hurt the original. But
Then
that
what's the
movie-
problem?
But it's so perfect.
What if they said don't reboot The Fly? What if they said don't reboot Scarface? What if they said don't? I mean,
What if they
Well-
said Morbius in Back to the Future reboot?
Well, I would say this. The original Scarface and the remake of Scarface, there's like 50 years.
a lot of years between them. A lot of years.
And same with The Fly and the
Thing.
and the Thing. And those are all, look, my favorite reboots of all time or remakes.
I don't want to age you here. You do know how long it's been since the original Back to the Future came
Yeah, no,
out, right?
it's been a long time.
It's been
a long
decades.
Time. But the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Thing, and The Fly are great reboots because they had a new spin on them. Now, if Back to the Future had something that was wildly different but kind of the same, I mean, dude, it's been so in Back to the Future 85, they went back to 55.
Yeah,
So it's
and
30
today
years.
they'd be going back to what the era was when the original Back to
They
the
would
Future
even
was.
go back. They would go back to 92.
Oh my God.
So they couldn't even go back to the original
Not
Back
even
to the
the
Future in the
80s.
same amount of time.
Yeah.
Get
So,
so many good Clinton administration jokes. It'd be great.
see, here's the thing, though. This is always my argument about reboots. If they make the reboot and it's terrible, we forget about it in a month and we're fine. If it's good, then we have another good movie to celebrate.
Have you seen? They've even made. See, now that you've sold me on this. There's a new DeLorean coming out.
Yeah.
On Hot Toys?
No.
A
No,
real
real.
Oh, like a new
Yes.
DeLorean?
A new DeLorean.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
In this new rebooted version, though, will Marty McFly's mother still try to sleep with him?
Yes.
All right. Well,
You cannot take that away from it.
That's fair.
I think in this day and age, maybe they would, but he wouldn't know it. And then he would be riddled with guilt.
oh, no.
Also, now you're just talking about old men.
Oh.
Just saying, for those of you who know the
You've convinced
movie.
me though. I'm now on board with the Back to the Future reboot.
But I'm not clamoring for them to do that. But if
Yeah.
they did it, I'm perfectly fine with it. All right, what's next?
From CJ Rebirth. What do you guys think of the Gremlins movies, and would you want to see a third one? Also, the Gizmo saying bye to Billy scene gets me every time.
Gremlins movies are great.
They're making a
they're
Gremlins
great.
TV show.
Yeah, well, and they've been trying to get a movie going for
Yeah.
age. The original director keeps talking about they got a script. They just kept trying to get it make. And it's an animated show
Yeah.
Yep.
that they have coming. But I love the Gremlins
Yeah.
movies. They're
I-
comfort food for me.
Our Christmas card a couple years ago was us. We went to the Cinespia, and we had a lovely little living room photo where a whole bunch of gremlins were attacking us.
And plus, that had, I talked about my dark, sardonic sense of humor. The first Gremlins has a biting,
Oh, yeah. it
Yeah.
does.
biting, dark, satiric. It's
Yep.
like
I
anarchy.
love it.
And same with the Gremlins 2, the new batch.
Yeah.
Stripe is one of the greatest cinematic villains of all time.
Love
All right,
him.
what's next?
From Phil, sending in a $20 super chat. Thanks, Phil. Speaking of the anniversary of The Wrath of Khan,
Tomorrow.
my local theater chain is showing it on the big screen. Granted, I've seen the movie many times, never seen it on the big screen as it came out before I was born. There Tuesday.
Listen, I love it when theaters give us the opportunity, the rare opportunity to see some great classic movies on the big screen the way they're meant to be seen that we very rarely get the opportunity to see. And I'm not going to lie to you. Like, obviously, Morbius is high on my dance card, but I will keep an eye open for Wrath of Khan being on the big screen again and see if I can slip out to see it
Yeah,
somewhere.
I think it's next week. And what's really cool is, they've remastered Wrath of Khan in 4K. And I think they're showing the director's cut, which is slightly different, which I really prefer. It's great. And the music, James Horner's score remixed for today's sound systems, man, I want to go see it because I bet it looks fantastic.
Anyway, hey, by the way, something like $20 there. Thank you so much for supporting us on that level, man. Really appreciate that. All right. what's next?
From Christopher Mendez. If there's a Morbius sequel, Chris Carr needs to be in it. It's what the people want.
It's
am I
what the people
included
want.
in the people? Because no.
Oh, come
come
on. They
on.
offered you a
You
part.
would
No,
take it in a
I would be
heartbeat.
like, what would get me to do this movie? Money, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, what's next?
from Joe for show, sending in almost $20 super
Joe
chat.
for sure.
Love that.
Hey crew, I love Spielberg as much as the next person, but will we see James Cameron helm a big MCU or DCEU movie as he is intertwined in the world of Avatar?
I don't mean this to sound morbid or anything. James Cameron's dance card for the rest of his life is spoken for. These Avatar movies are honestly going to take him for the rest of his career. I don't see there being any room with what his plans are, because he's plans on doing 4 more of these things. And we've seen how long it takes him to do it. I just don't see him having time for it, unfortunately. Otherwise, that could have been pretty cool. All right, what's next?
From Sebastian, one and only Brad Bird needs to do Fantastic Four. Hashtag Incredibles.
I mean, just because one movie he did that was really good, that's kind of some of that doesn't mean he's the only guy who can do it. But again, if they announced him, I'd be all for it.
Good.
All right, what's next?
From Faisal, I want Blue Marvel movie.
Oh, the Blue Marvel. You don't want a Marvel movie. Yeah. Blue Mar- Listen, we kind of thought we were going to get him in WandaVision.
Yeah.
There was a lot of us that thought that he was going to pop up in there. That was a very solid theory when we didn't. I wouldn't be surprised at all that we see Blue Marvel at some point here.
Marvels.
Yeah. Maybe Marvels. Yeah. All right, what's next?
From Andy, which trailer is worse, The Winchesters or Gotham Knights?
Gotham Knights.
Yeah, dude.
Winchester's was just utterly, profoundly disappointing. Gotham Knights is actively I think it's a joke that they made as a trailer for Tropic Thunder 2. It's actively bad. It's not passively bad. It is actively bad. So yeah, that one's easy. All right, what's next?
From Bad Case of the Suck-Ups, Netflix got the W with me. Hustle is a great movie. What's the Tracksuit Mafia's fave movie? Bromancing the Stone.
You know what? I will say this.
It's Friday.
In the midst of when Hawkeye was on, we would every once in a while people would send in these lists of movies replaced with bro, right? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of miss it a little bit.
No, dude. Why open that? Oh, God.
I might miss it a little bit, but Bromancing the Stone.
Well, guys, we'll see you
Bromancing
Monday
the
with those.
Stone. Never leaving your poor heart alone.
Before you read the rest, I got a member chat from Bootleg Snacks. He says, rarely get to catch live shows. This is great. Been watching since the Winter Soldier spoiler review with John and Amy Rose.
Wow.
Love the current crew.
Thank you so much for that, man. Thank you for being around for so long and being with us that way. And thank you for throwing that in, man. Really appreciate that, dude. All right, what's next?
From Jesse Price. Hey guys, I used your sponsor, MeUndies.
Yay!
Aw, your
First
tush
of all-
is so swaddled.
Did you get the Batman boxer briefs? Because I want those.
Your ass is going to be so happy.
Yeah.
And when you by supporting our sponsors, you supported us. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate that very much. All right, what's next?
And then we have support, Jeff Nichols, and from Fredo again.
Oh, guys, thank you so much for sending that in. And guys, that went a little bit overtime today. That's all right, because it's Friday. Guys, thank you so much for being here and joining us for this episode of the John Campea Show on this Friday. May you have a wonderful weekend planned ahead of you guys, and we cannot wait to see you again. And don't forget, a little bit later forward, let's bring up that graphic. A little bit later today at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Rob and I will be doing our open spoiler discussion of The Boys After Show, talking about the first 3 episodes. Make sure you guys, number one, you got a number of hours now to get caught up. Get caught up and come on in and join us for that. We're going to be talking about it. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Big special thank you to all of you guys who sent in those super chats. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported our channel as you did it. And all of us involved here with the show, thank you so much for that support. And to all of you members who gifted memberships to a bunch of
amazing.
members for that. Thanks so much
Sweeties.
for doing that. So for myself, Robert Meyer Burnett, Chris Carr, Ray Ora, our producer, Jonathan Voico, and myself, John Campea, thanks so much for being here, guys. And until next time, my friends, diabolical.